Look, so we're explaining how you can take negative equity. If you get a car that you end up getting with a big discount, you can bring the negative equity over. And this Ionic deal, when this person shared it with me that they got a couple days ago, they got a $49,000 vehicle for $325 a month using these systems, using what you're going to learn. But here's the thing. Let's say she had $7,000 of negative equity now. She could literally take that $7,000 into this 2-year lease. That her payment's only going to go up $291. There'll be some tax there, so let's just say it'll go up another $310, and we add that to our first $300. So her payment's $610. Normally, getting a $49,000 car, bringing $7,000 of negative equity over does not equal a $600 payment. That's a $1,100 payment. That's a $1,200 payment. But if you get the right car where you can get tons of money off, and right now leasing some of these electric cars, as long as you know how to get these $15,000, $20,000 discounts off of them and lease them, this is a brilliant way to get out of negative equity, because once these electric car rebates and these electric car discounts go away, the market's very soft on these cars. Once they go away, we're not going to be able to move negative equity over to these leases and make it make sense the way it's making sense now. But for now, huge opportunity. That's what I will be doing. Driving an electric car for 2 or 3 years, taking the huge discount that I'll get from shopping around, and then bringing my negative equity over. And then once the lease is done, you have no more negative equity. You do a fresh deal, and you never have negative equity again. Just make sure when you lease, you get the mileage you need. Alexis Owens, welcome to the group. I see you just follow. Andre Guest, thanks for sharing. Shout out to the sharers. And shout out to the people who tap the screen. Every time y'all tap the screen, watch the likes go up. So if you hear something that you like, you're enjoying it, just start double tapping the screen. Y'all will keep running the likes up. So keep typing your questions in. We're live. Dolan, can you bring some of these questions? I don't know if you had time yet to get some of these questions we got on TikTok. Jason Davis, good to see you. Moni Love. Yes, I actually told Moni Love. She asked, do I provide broker services? I don't do broker services. I do something, in my opinion, we do it better, because a broker still is going to shop, and you're never going to know what their best deal really is. Brokers make a lot of money. I'm in New Jersey, where there's a lot of brokers. There's a lot of brokers in New York, and brokers make a lot of money, and they basically do it based on trust. If I have your trust, and I got the ability to control your entire car deal from start to finish, I have the ability to control where you buy your car from, returning your old lease, could be equity in that. I'm controlling all your money, and I'm controlling it based on a trust system. Then I have, and the thing that's better about being a broker, which is why really, you know who becomes brokers? Car salesmen who get tired of small commissions. Because car salesmen, when we're selling cars, we're getting probably on average 20% of the profit. And if the profit is $3,000, if the profit's $10,000 and we bring home $2,000, okay, that's cool. But brokers, all right, if the profit's $10,000, I could bring home $5,000. I'll split it, because the dealerships look at a broker as another dealer. So that's who usually becomes brokers. People who look and say, man, I'd rather make 2-3 times the money on each car, because I'm my own dealership. So what we do is we work with people and show you how to get all your numbers yourself, show you how to get the market reports yourself. If you use what's in my digital book, Moni, you could become your own broker, because no one actually shops cars the way we do. We do market assessments. So when we're leasing a car, we reach out to 25 dealers online. We never have to talk to them. And we get 5 offers, at least 5, sometimes 7, sometimes 10. New cars, we reach out to 25 dealers online using scripts, email scripts that I wrote. They're already wrote. You don't have to think about them. They're already written out. And then we get 5 offers. And then for a used car, we shop the market. We assess the market from the low side to the high side. We narrow down used cars based on title record, service history, accident history. We verify there's no bogus fees that they're going to try to charge us. Who's done that? You go to the dealership thinking you're going to get one price, and then they hit you with these other fees. This is what you do to avoid these things. We have to have a process for this. And so you could do this and become your own broker, but I would never recommend a broker, because unless they're going to give you a spreadsheet. If they're going to give you a spreadsheet of all the work they did, all the dealers they shopped, all the entire market that they assess for you, then that's a broker that I would hire. And no one does that except us. We'll be launching that service very soon. Very soon. So the people who like Deshaun, man, I mean, if I could just pay y'all to run this whole and do your whole system for me, that's coming very, very soon. But for now, you may want to, shop with us. We have 3 ways that we can help you. 2 ways now. Do it yourself. That's get my book. That's the whole blueprint. If you're a do-it-yourself, Deshaun, just give me the blueprint. As long as the blueprint's official, I'll get it done. That's my digital book. You can get it for 75% off in my bio, in my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, the comments. You get it for $24 if you get there before 30 minutes. And the done with you, that's when we're doing it together. You're looking at coaching videos and I'm walking you through it and I'm supporting you. That's also in my bio. So again, what's coming soon is the done for you. But that's our commitment, to be the best company in the world for the car buyer. So we're getting there slowly but surely. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Let's get to some more questions. Keep typing questions. What's up, Martin? See a lot of people checking in on TikTok. Chris, good to see you. Can you do this with Tesla? Great question. Right now, Tesla is very soft. They have a set price, though. They don't negotiate. So what they do is when you're buying a new Tesla or leasing it, you don't need to get bids, because getting bids is to avoid overpaying. Getting bids is to avoid buying a car from one place and another place over here would have sold it for $5,000 less. Tesla operates similar to like the Apple store. You're going to get an iPhone in California, it's the same price for the iPhone in Florida, same price in New Jersey. So you don't need to shop around for an iPhone. It's a set price. That's Tesla. But any other car is different. Every other car, it's different prices. 3,000 more here, so that's the difference. But with a Tesla, you still need to divide if you're going to lease it, you need to understand whether you should buy or lease it. That's based on how long you're going to keep it. And this is proving the point. The point about depreciation that we've been preaching. I've been preaching depreciation so many years to people who say, well, I don't lease cars, Deshaun. They limit you on mileage. That's not true. You can pick your mileage up to 30,000 miles a year for most cars. Deshaun, I don't like to lease. I'm gonna beat my car. They want you to have the car perfect. That's not true. They give you normal wear and tear. You can bring the car back with dings. You can bring the car back. They expect 3 years of wear. What they charge you for is excess wear, which is similar to negligence, abuse. If you have a baseball-sized dent, that's the stuff. But depreciation, Tesla is proving that people should not have been buying these cars because their cars are depreciating almost worse than any other car on the market. And they sold you based on, we have this brand, Tesla, and people went out and buy these cars. They didn't want to lease, didn't listen to the advice. Now they bought a $50,000 car that lost 20% of its value in a year. These cars that were 40,000, they can get them for 30. This is the dramatic depreciation. Now, had you leased these Teslas, had you leased them, it wouldn't matter to you. You drop it off after 3 years, you pay your low payment. See, leasing protects you against depreciation. Car values drop through the floor, no problem. I'm good. The buyers, that's a horrible situation. I would hate to be in a Tesla that I bought 2 years ago and see the values dropping the way they're dropping. Okay, but yeah, that's what we did. That's the only part of the system that we don't have to shop around for, Brian, which is where we're going to buy the Tesla from. But we still need to understand if a lease makes sense. Divide the monthly payment into the MSRP. If it's 1% or less, you got to steal. If it's between 1% and 1.5%, that's a good deal. The lower, the better. We don't lease vehicles over 1.5. A lot of people got bad lease deals. A lot of people driving around right now in bad lease deals. They put a ton of money down. Their payments are way too high. I'll give you an example. Look. I'll give you an example. Look at Raphael. $45,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $549 a month, no money down. $45,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee, no money down, $549 a month. That's great value. India. Look, she got a Hyundai Elantra, limited, with the leather and everything, $365 a month, no money down. That's a below market lease. A lot of people, their problem They got a couple things going wrong with them with leasing. One, they don't understand depreciation. Two, they're not choosing the correct mileage that they need for the lease. Three, they're overpaying for the leases because they're not getting multiple offers. And so when these people tell you, if that's you and you're like, oh man, I don't like leasing, I see why. You're doing it wrong. Follow our system, your leases will be great. You'll pay less than everyone. And that's what we do. Go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next question up. Keep typing your question. Greg the Barber, good to see you, man. I ain't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Greg the Barber, Taz, good to see you. What's going on, Simba girl? Good to see you. Leroy Rogers, stay posted. We got you. I have a 2022 Lexus paid for. Want a new Porsche 2024 or 2025 to buy versus lease. If you're gonna, are you keeping the Lexus? I would listen now. If you bought that Lexus and you're looking to replace it, you're gonna lose a ton of money. And if you pay cash, which is you either paid cash or you paid it off very quickly, what you're gonna see is when you go to replace, first thing you would do is decide, are you keeping this next vehicle? I'm gonna give you your first two steps, Leroy. First two steps, they're easy. How many years are you gonna keep the next vehicle? Is it less than 8? Then we should be shopping for a below market lease on the Porsche. That's very simple. Are we going to keep the Porsche more than 8 years? Then we can buy it, because we're going to avoid all depreciation with a long-term buy. If I got a Porsche outside and I kept it for 8, 9, 10 years, at least 8, then that's okay. Even if I overpaid for it, which I don't want you to overpay. If you really listen to me, then not only will you win with depreciation, but you'll pay less money for a Porsche than anyone else. I helped somebody get a Porsche Macan. He got 10, 15 grand off. He got so much money off, he didn't even understand the numbers. He just said, I had to get like 10 to 15 grand off of this because he had shopped it his way and he saw the numbers were so much higher. And then he met me, he used our system, and the price dropped by like 200, 300, close to 200, 300 a month. And he was like, I had to save like another 10, 15 grand off of this. I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. So that's the first question. You're going to keep it for 8 years. If you're going to keep it for 8 years, then we buy the Porsche. And what you would do is you would now assess the value of the Lexus. If you're going to sell it, you're going to go to CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, KBB Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, and Car Gurus. Again, I'm going to write that down. These are the companies we sell our cars to that we get bids from. We don't trade cars. We do not trade cars. The only people that have to trade cars are people with negative equity. That's why we want you to come out of negative equity. We don't trade cars. We sell our cars. And in fact, when you trade your car, you think you're trading it, you're actually selling it. That's why it's on that contract. It's on that buyer's order is, I'm selling you my old car for this amount. So we get bids, six companies, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, and this takes 20 minutes. So if you're committed to your money, you're going to do this. It doesn't matter if it's that's why, look, unlearn. It doesn't matter if this is a new process. Deshaun, I never did it like this. Okay, then keep losing money then. These are your 6 companies: Carvana, KBB Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, CarMax, Driveway, Car Guru, Sell My Car. That's step 2 in my book. So what we just went over with Leroy was the first 2 steps. One is deciding if we're going to buy or lease. How do we do that? We find out, are we keeping our car more than 8 years? If yes, we're going to buy it. Are we keeping it less than 8 years? We're going to shop for a below market lease. That's how we're going to beat depreciation. Now, once that's decided, we move on to our equity assessment. And that's what he's about to do. Go to those 6 companies, get the offers. Greg the Barber, I can't get my wife to understand leasing is better than buying because we trade cars every 2 years. Just bring her on here and show her the numbers. Just show her the numbers. Show her what a below market lease looks like. Look, Rosalie, she gets a $60,000 vehicle, $592 a month. $60,000 QX. That vehicle is $1,300 a month to buy. Let's continue. Teddy, $73,000 BMW. $856 a month. Now these are below market leases. If your wife is looking at commercials and saying, oh, they want us to bring $3,000 down, all of these deals are no money down leases. You got to understand something. What you see on commercials are never going to be deals. A deal is when a dealer doesn't want to make it, but they have to. They decide, I have to make it. I need the number, whatever. That's a deal. A deal is not a commercial that's seen by 10,000 people that come on in and get these prices. So look at Zafrina, $65,000 vehicle, $579 a month. So below market leases, how do you get them? Multiple offers. I have the best system, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, for doing this because we do it from home. The Cars from Home system is the best system for getting multiple offers from home. So you can get your book. My new digital book is called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. And you'll have the entire blueprint on getting below market leases, purchases, new cars, used cars. And you can get it for 75% off as part of my welcome offer. It's normally a $97 book. It's worth every penny. You can Google it. You can see it's 5-star rated. But as part of my welcome offer, you can get it for 75% off for 30 minutes only. In my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the Facebook comments, or the YouTube comments. But you got to get there before 30 minutes is up. It's numbers. It's numbers. See, numbers shock people out of emotion. Me talking to you about why leasing makes sense, that's not enough to break the programming of people who programmed you not to lease. That's why I go right to the numbers. Now, yes, I'll explain depreciation, what's making these numbers so low, what the risks are taking of not leasing, and then the car depreciates and now you lost money, because if you were going to sell a car for a certain amount and it depreciated 10,000 because you put a lot more miles on it, then your car is worth a lot less. You lost money. So I could talk to you about that, but bigger than anything is, hey, let me show you these lease payments on below market leases. That's what got me. When I was in GM, my manager said, hey, D, you want to, I was like, hey, I need a car. He was like, hey, you know anything about leasing? I was already selling cars and I really didn't understand leasing. And he helped me at 22 years old get my first lease. It was a $20,000 car, $256 a month. I had friends that had brand new cars. They were paying double. And mind you, these weren't fancy. These were Honda Civics, Toyota Corollas. They were paying $500 a month. I'm paying $256 a month for a similar price car. I never got in trouble. I got the mileage I needed. Drove 12,000 miles a year at the time. I needed that. One lease, I drove 15,000 because we were doing more miles. I bumped it to 15,000 a year. Leasing is a numbers thing. We drive off the lot in the same exact car. Your payment's double mine. You lost. Now, in the long run, if you keep the car, pay it off, and keep it for 8, 9, 10 years, then you didn't lose. But if you think we're going to drive off in the same car and your payment's $200-300 more a month than mine, because you say, oh, well, I'm buying mine, no, this thing's going to be paid off one day, then you lost, man. I don't care what you do. Look, see me in a couple years. Look at how much more money is in my bank account than is in your bank account. The money that's in my bank account is in your car. It's going to the bank every month. I do this, man. I'm trying to desperately shout from the hills to get people to stop buying these cars if they're not keeping them 8 years. Losing you've already lost thousands of dollars. Thousands, you've already lost. Once you come over to understand this, you'll realize that I should have been doing this 10, 15, 20 years ago. I'm paying off my cars, flipping them, paying them off, flipping them, buying them, not even paying them off, flipping them. I'm trying to flip cars. I'm trying to flip depreciating assets in the short term. So many reasons why this doesn't work. I could kill this all day long. But again, it comes down to the numbers. Below market lease deals, there's no comparison. All right. But you'll have the system for how to get them in my book. So it's a digital book. So it'll be in your inbox before you even get off this stream, as long as you get there before the 30 minutes is up. Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next question in. Keep typing, y'all. We'll get through as many as we can. Yep. Energy guy for life. I have a car bought, but I owe more than it's worth. How do I get out? We talked about that. That's actually what we started the show with. So what I would do is I would go to either YouTube, Facebook, and rewind it, watch the beginning, because we started talking about the first question we got was about negative equity. So we spent time talking about how you need to maximize your value, get offers. I don't want to go over it again because there are people on here who is anybody who needs to hear about negative equity? Type of 1 if you need to hear about negative equity. We might hit on it again. But there's a lot of people on here that were on here earlier that they heard about it maybe 20 minutes ago. But we'll see. Let's if a lot of people end up saying they want the question, then we'll come back. But again, I don't like to spend 10 minutes or 7 minutes answering a question and then another 20 minutes down the road I answer the same question. All right, go ahead. Let's go, Dolan. Bring the next one up. Let's go. Do you have your book in hard copy? No, it wouldn't be available in hard copy because it wouldn't be good to do in hard copy. Websites change rapidly. Vroom, we used to get bids from. Vroom bought a lot of our cars. They were in the bidding process when we sold our cars to them. They were in our equity assessment process. And when we shop for used cars, we use a process I call the multiple marketplace strategy. They were in our multiple marketplace strategy. They go out of business. If you were using a hard copy of my book, you not only have to get another copy, you be going on websites that no longer exist. And that just wouldn't be an ideal experience. Thank you, Bridget. That wouldn't be an ideal experience. Another thing about the digital book is we get to actually link you to scripts. This is an online process. So if you're not comfortable with a digital book, this may not be for you. I'm just being honest with you. This is not for everyone. You need to be able to copy and paste, email. Like, this book wouldn't be for my dad. That's just real. My dad wasn't really comfortable with copy and pasting and sending emails because he doesn't need to do it for his daily life. He can send an email. It's just going to take him a couple. So when we're using our system, we're doing a lot of copying and pasting, opening up websites. So it wouldn't make sense to have a physical book there because I have scripts that we use. I have online calculators that we use that I invented. There's 5 calculators in the book that I actually invented, wrote the code for. You can't get them on Google. So these are all some of the reasons why it could never be a print book. It wouldn't make sense. And there's a lot more in there. All right, there's 7 paths. A lease path, but a lease path with with a third-party equity assessment, a used car path, paying car path. We have links that warp you to keep you on track. If you were reading a physical book, it just wouldn't work. That book is uniquely written as a digital book for a reason. It's not like I wrote an ebook because I didn't want to put out a physical book. It would be simple. It's much more simple. But this is a complex. We needed the links and to be able to certain parts you get to in the book, and I say, hey, click here if you want to watch a video on this subject. And you're like, whoa, okay. Oh, it's a video. I can understand this. Couldn't do that with a physical book. So if you want to get your copy of Car From Home, my new digital book, you can get it for 75% off as part of my welcome offer in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. It's normally $97, worth every penny, but it's part of my welcome offer. You get there before 30 minutes. You got 30 minutes to get the 75% off. You get yours for $24. Make sure when you get your book, you screenshot the thank you page. Right after you pay, the book is on that page. As soon as you pay, it says access your book below. It also says I'm emailing you a copy. It also gives you my support team's email in case you don't get your book. Because a lot of people type their email wrong. Just reach out to my support team. They'll get you the book. But you have a copy of it as soon as you pay right there in that link. And keep that link. All right, go ahead, Dolan. All right, what is going on? I see you, Greg the Barber. We'll get that one in. What's up, Jackie Cox? Good to see you. We just bought a 24 Jeep Grand Cherokee. We traded my truck, wasn't upside down. Now we got a $900 payment. If you traded your truck, how long did you have the old truck, Greg? What year was the old truck that you traded? You just bought a 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee. What year was the old vehicle that you traded? What year was the old vehicle? Let me know because I can see your comments. So let me know what year was the old vehicle that you traded in. Just type the year because I don't want. I like to keep the show moving forward fast. So type. All right, it's 2019. That means, so if you didn't have negative equity, that means you just paid off that vehicle, or you put a good amount of money down, and then you traded it off literally as soon as you paid it off. Just depreciation alone. Let me give you an idea. Depreciation alone. This is that 2019 Nissan. What happens is you bought it here. The depreciation on that vehicle over 5 years is like this. Now, if vehicles just dropped in value like this indefinitely, nobody would buy them. No one would buy them because people would be like, why would I ever buy something that is a sliding board of losing thousands of dollars in value? You notice when you buy a vehicle one day, let's just say that you buy a $40,000 vehicle today. What is it worth tomorrow? Let's just say not even a year down the road, a $40,000 vehicle, you buy it today. What is it worth tomorrow? The day after you buy it, throw some numbers out. And I want to give Greg an example of why he needs to be leasing. And if he wants to keep, you're losing thousands of dollars. It's not even a question, but I want to help you through this because again, this is not your fault. It's bad program. People speak very, very loud about not leasing and they sound convincing. They never talk numbers though. That's the clue that they don't know what they're talking about. They never talk numbers. Okay. So a day later, they say you lose 15, 20%. Not that much, Nicole. She said it's half. No, it's about, you lose about 15% in a day. And that depends on how soft the market is. If this was a vehicle that you could have got 15 grand off on, but you paid close to list price, then you will lose 20 grand because you didn't know what the market was. Give you an example. Milligan just got $27,000 off her Mercedes. $27,000 off. And I got to show this stuff because people wouldn't believe it if I didn't show it. Milligan got no, that's Melissa. Milligan got $27,000 off. If you zoom in on that Mercedes, it's a Mercedes EQE, $79,000. She got it for like $53,000. Now, had she bought this car, let's just say it's a $79,000. Let's call it 80, just for easy math. Let's say she got it for $5,000 off. You know, she thinks, hey, I'm getting a Mercedes, $5,000 off. That sounds good. If she went back the next day and said, well, I need to give this back to you, I can't afford it or whatever, any reason, they're probably only going to give her $50,000 at best for it because they know the market on it. You overpaid for it. It doesn't matter. Like this vehicle, you overpaid for. So although you paid 75, the vehicle really, the new market was only like 50 in the 50s. So she would lose $20,000. She would lose, $20,000 on that purchase. It's very dangerous to not shop the new market for a vehicle because you don't know how soft the vehicle is. So we call a vehicle that needs a big discounts to sell it. And some dealers are taking off 7, 10 grand, 15 grand. They got big rebates. That's a soft vehicle. It's a very soft market. Very dangerous to buy these cars without shopping the market because you're going to lose. But let's get back to Greg. If vehicles just kept losing value like this, you never buy them because people will be like, man, these things are just, like throwing a stone in the ocean, but they don't. Eventually, they start to level out. So a vehicle that's worth 11,000, next year it'll be worth 10,000. And then the following year, it's only going to lose, maybe there are people on here now, some of you've had your vehicle so long, the amount that it's worth today is going to be the same amount it's worth next year. Your vehicle's worth 8,000 today. A year from now, it's going to be worth about, 75, 76. This is now what your depreciation looks like. But in your case, Greg, and people you're buying these cars, you're literally riding the depreciation out sliding board, losing tons of value. And then as soon as you're about to start leveling out, you go and you get another vehicle and you do it again. You're just taking sliding boards, losing thousands of dollars all the time, over and over and over again. And that's just a recipe for losses. How do we avoid them? We get below market leases. That same Jeep Grand Cherokee that you got, look at how much you're paying for it. And look at how much Raphael is putting into hers. Raphael got a 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $45,000 vehicle, $549 a month, no money down. You're tying up thousands of dollars in that car. Thousands. Raphael is driving the exact same vehicle as you, $549 a month. Zafrina, you got a couple people on here got Jeep Grand Cherokees. Zafrina has a $65,000 when she got the electric version, 2024. She's paying $579 a month. You bought this car, 65 grand. If you put no money down, you're paying $1,100-1,200 a month. Actually, no, that's more like $1,300 a month. Depends on what, even with a big discount, $1,100 a month, 5 years. These are huge payments compared to what Raphael and Zafrina are paying. And you might say, well, my payment's lower. Only way your payment's lower is you gave them a lot of money up front. You gave them 10 grand, or you gave them your trade. I didn't put any money down, but I did trade in my vehicle. Your trade was worth 10 grand. So it's just replace the trade in with cash. This is real money that could be in your bank account. And I'm gonna tell you something before we move to the next question. Let me tell you something. I would look. Melissa learned. She learned because she was just like you, Greg, just like you, and people like you. Listen, Greg, I'm not isolating you out. This is just a great example of what millions of people are doing. You know, this is, and again, I wouldn't know this if I hadn't been in the business. I'm not smarter than anyone. I just spent 14 years in this industry, and I love math. So this comes very easy for me, thank God. But you look at Melissa. Melissa, once you find out that you should be leasing, instead of trading these cars and selling them and putting all this money and keeping your equity in your vehicles, you should be selling your vehicle, putting the equity in your bank account, and then moving forward. Why can't I find Melissa's deal? Hold on. Here we go. So Melissa, she says to Sean, I learned about leasing. I'm not buying anymore. She replaces her 2018 Kia Sorento. She got her bids. Her highest bid was from Carvana, 12 grand. 12 grand. So she normally would take most, if not all of that money and just roll it over to her next car. She ends up getting her Honda. She gets her Honda lease. She gets a 15,000 mile a year lease. Well, we shot with 12. So she ends up getting it for about $575 a month. She got a Honda. Hold on, I'm trying to read this fast. She got a Honda Pilot EXL. That's probably it's probably a $45,000 vehicle, maybe 48. She got it for $575 a month. And look, nothing out of pocket. And look, she put the $12,000 in her bank account. So now her car payment is low, not high like it was when she was buying the Kia. And she literally pulled all that money that she used to keep in her cars, rolling them over. She pulled it out, put it in her bank account. Imagine selling your car and actually putting the equity in your bank and still leaving in a brand new car with under your budget. That's what happens when you move from buying as a short-term buyer, not keeping 8 years, into leasing. It'll change your world. And again, only thing you're going to say is, man, I should have been doing this years ago. I should have been doing this a lot. You know, we don't even get to harping on the money you lost. Do you think prices will continue to drop on vehicles? I do. We always get deals. We were getting deals when people thought there were no deals. All through the pandemic, we had people getting deals. Bonita right here got her Kia. She got her Kia Telluride. This was a dream vehicle. During the pandemic, and look at the year. You can see the year. When she got hers, it was 2022. Literally, people were paying $10,000 over sticker for these vehicles. People were leasing these Tellurides for $800 a month, $900 a month. She got hers for $600 a month, no money down. This is pandemic. You know, we've helped. I started this in 2021 in the middle of the pandemic. Everything when you see people all on my pages, you know, there's deals everywhere. There's never a point in time where I go to buy a car in the last 15 years and I'm like, oh, there's no deals out here. Because again, there's always going to be a dealer who's going to sell. You just have to learn to find them, Nicole. You keep going into the local dealer thinking you're supposed to be able to negotiate a good deal with them. 8 out of 10 dealers are overpriced. We've proven that. Why? How can I tell you that confidently? Because all of us shop the market. You shop locally. We shop the market. What you'll learn to do with Cars from Home, my new digital book, is to shop the market. You go local to 1 or 2 dealers, they already know. NADA they taught us. When we were car salesmen, NADA taught us that people only shop 2 car dealers on average. So if those are the statistics, your local dealer knows that. They know as soon as they see you walk in, you know, can I get a quote? Can I pick a car out? odds are this person is not going to shop more than one other dealership, and we're going to get them. If we just work and smile and be courteous, they're going to pick us. If they don't buy today, maybe we could get their business next week or something like that, but they're not shopping the market. That's where you lose. So when those two are high, you think the whole market's high. But using our system, what you're going to learn in my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. I think sometimes I say that title too fast. It goes over your head. Cars from Home, that's a mindset, because we spend 90% of our time here. All of these people that you see me sharing in my streams, they are literally in their house 90% of the time to get these deals. Cars from Home, 7 steps. That means it's a process. It's not you're not winging it anymore. You're not winging the process. It's a 7-step process. Step 1 is the most important question. We're deciding whether we're going to lease or buy. Step 7 is delivery. By the time you get to step 7, you're taking delivery of your vehicle. 7 steps to saving time, which is what I love, money, which is another thing I love, and avoiding dealerships, which is something that most people want to do. So just in the title alone, you could understand what you hold us accountable to delivering. And when you Google the book, you'll see we deliver on this. It's a proven system. We've been doing this for 3 years now, and we have hundreds of people who've used the system. And grandmothers, single mothers, introverts, men, children. I'm talking young kids. Like, system works. It's like McDonald's. So you can get a copy of the book. It's a digital book. It'll be in your inbox in 3 minutes. Go to my TikTok bio, and it's my welcome offer. You can get it for 75% off, but it's only for 30 minutes. The book's $97. It's not $24. So if you get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments, click that link. You can get it for $24, but only for 30 minutes. That's my welcome offer. Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one up. All right. How do I negotiate buying more miles on a lease? You get it up front. It's very simple. We shop with 12,000 miles per year. Shop all your offers. Once you get your best offer, identify who that 20% dealer is. They beat everybody else. You email them, hey, can you adjust it to 15,000 miles per year or 18,000 miles per year? Very simple. If you're doing it your way, then you just call them and say, hey, all right, I'm gonna go with you, but can you tell me what it would be for 18,000 or 20,000? That's what Jen did. She shopped for $39,000 Honda CRV. Her best offer on this vehicle, it's a hybrid, very hot vehicle. This is one of the most popular hybrids over the last couple of years, the Honda CRV hybrid. $39,000 vehicle. Her best offer was $512 a month, no money down, 12,000 miles per year. She adjusted it to 18,000 miles a year. Payment went to $563. Then she signed her deal. So $512 a month, bumped it up to $563. So for $50 more, she's driving as much as she needs, 18,000 miles a year. She's going to bring this vehicle back to them in 3 years. It's going to have roughly 54,000 miles on it. She's going to get something else. That's how you get your miles. It's built in. You're customizing your lease. In the beginning, we customize our leases. The dealers are giving you what you ask them for. You say, work me out a lease deal. All right, I'll do it. Give me a lease quote. I'll do it. In my book, we have a template. This is how you give me your lease quote. 12,000 miles per year, first month's payment only, taxes and fees in the payment. This is what I do for a living. Some of you can't even get deals because you don't realize you're trying to shop online and you don't realize the reason you can't get your prices is because you're not giving dealers what they need to actually even give you the prices. Dealers need to know your zip code to factor in the taxes. But you like, oh, why are they asking for this? Dealers need to know what you do for a living. See if you qualify for any rebates. Dealers need to know what when your deadline is. That's why we have templates that you fill in, email them. Because as a former car salesman, I know what dealers need to give you quotes. That's why it's written out for you. But again, if you want to do it your way, call around and just I would only speak to sales managers. I would only speak to sales managers. If you want to do it your way, I don't care how you get multiple offers. I just know my way is easier because you don't have to talk to people. If you have to talk to people, then you need to be a good talker and you need to know what you're going to say. My way, you don't need to know what you're going to say. I'm telling you what you're going to type. Go ahead, Dolan. Do you think the banks will ever get rid of the points that they pay to dealerships? Commissions. Let's use, because you use a form of a commission. That's all it is. You could say it's a point. You could say, I mean, I could pay you a point, or I could pay you a flat, but I'm paying you for selling this loan for us. So do I think that a person who sells financial products will ever sell them for free? No, I don't. No. And that's why we use something called the bank bidding war, where we are going direct to credit unions and banks, and we're allowing them to bid on our business. Most people don't know that the credit bureaus allow you to have multiple banks and credit unions access your credit report in a small period of time. It's called the rate shopping. You can Google rate shopping and you'll understand that they allow you this. You can have multiple hard pulls within a certain period of time, and you can actually have them bid. They expect you to do that. Most people don't do it, actually. So they can't help you because they're like, hey, we allow you to do it, but you're not doing it. You're letting the dealer run you out to multiple banks and credit unions. But if you Google rate shopping, what it says is if you can have multiple banks and credit unions access your credit with the hard pull, and at the end of that period, it's going to weigh on your credit like one hard pull. So at the end, if one hard pull would have dropped your score 10 points, you could have 15 banks and credit unions run your credit, and it's going to drop at the same 10 points. But the difference is one strategy, you overpay for your loan, overpay for your interest, have no price assurance, no price guarantee that you got a good interest rate, and you have the same 10 points on your credit that you hit with the hard pull. The other strategy, you have the best rate, lowest rate in the market. You guarantee it because you have 15 people access your credit and make bids and make offers, and it's the same 10 points hard pull. This is called the bank bidding war. We created this. You can actually, again, when you get my book, I haven't combined this into the book, but when you get the book, you actually get the bank bidding war blueprint for those of you who are going to be financing and getting a loan. So this is everything we talked about in this stream is in my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can grab your copy for 75% off as part of my welcome offer, but it's only for 30 minutes. You won't pay the normal $97 price. You get it for $24 as long as you get there before 30 minutes. Get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the Facebook comments, or the YouTube comments. Click that link and then click Get Book 75% off, and you'll have it in your inbox. Make sure you screenshot the thank you page because the book is on that page. I also email you a copy. And just in case you don't get your copy in 5 minutes, you'll have my support team's email. So screenshot that page. But I wanna. There's something I just wanted to say. Hold on. Let's see if it comes back. Yeah, I don't know. It slipped my mind. But listen, this is the. I mean, I take this serious, and the only people who really win, everyone who I showed you, and we could spend. Maybe I'll do it one day. I might spend one stream and just spend an hour just going over 50, 60, 70 people's deals that have used our system. After that, it'll start to get old because you're going to be like, okay, wow, these are starting to look the same. Yeah, they're all good. And then you realize that this is not complex. We're not building rocket ships. All we're doing is we have the best system for making people compete for our business in the auto industry. That's it. That's our claim to fame. Now, I also teach you about leasing versus buying and financial boundaries that no one else is really teaching about. But when it comes to getting the deal, when it comes to how are we getting the prices we're getting easily in 90 minutes and 2 hours from home, it's just we have the best system for making people compete. Amazon has one of the best systems for making sellers compete for your business. That's why they do well. Competition is what drives down prices. Competition is what allows you to make great decisions quickly. So that's what you're going to get in Cars from Home. Got my copy. I'm going to start shopping your way. Energy God for life. Listen, God bless you. Use it and trust the process. Do not overthink. Here's what I said. Bring your goal. All you want to have is your goal. Forget your strategy. Forget everything of every strategy, every tactic you might have thought worked for you with car buying and shopping and leasing. Just forget it. Just bring your goal. Yeah, I want this Lexus truck. Yeah, I want this. Bring your goal, trust our process. Success is guaranteed. All right. And just stay on the steps. It's a step-by-step process. All right. God bless. I'll see y'all on the next stream. Enjoy the rest of the day, the rest of the evening. See you. All right, we are live for car shopping questions and answers. All we do here is focus on insider strategies. My name is Deshaun, the Auto Advisor. That's what I'm known as. I spent 14 years in the car business. If this is your first time on a stream with me, can you type the number 1? I always like to shout out the first time people who've never been here. Type the number 1 if this is your first time. First time ever being on one of our streams. Miss Nikki, shout out to you. First time. User 130. I'll butcher your name. Welcome. Kenty, I see you. Welcome. Emily, first time. Welcome. Mike, welcome. Welcome to the new people who've never been here. If you've been here with us before and you know some of the stuff we teach, and you've either just learned it or you benefited from it, you already got cars, just type welcome to the first timers. We're a family here. We've been doing this on TikTok and these other platforms for about 3 years now. We've helped thousands of people pay less than everyone else for cars. And we got people all around, collectively right now, we got 2.3 million followers. And all I'm known for is I don't tell jokes. I don't dance. All we do, people know me for helping them save money on cars. That's all I'm known for. So welcome to the people who are first timers. And, Dolan, you can bring on that first question. We got to just keep typing your question because after a while we get so many people on. If you don't get your questions in now, you're probably not going to get it answered. And I'm just being honest because there's more people come on when now we're on Instagram now live. We're on YouTube live. We're on Facebook live. So once these questions start coming in from all these platforms, you're going to have a harder time getting your questions answered. So type them now. Okay, can you explain why someone would pay over sticker price? There's only 3 prices that you can pay for any vehicle, Carla. Market value, above market value, or below market value. Above market value is reserved for the people with no strategy. There are people who just do not have a car buying strategy at all. They would rather get it over with. That's their strategy, get it over with. And they'll close their eyes and sign. They might say no one time, and then they're going to say, all right, I'll take it. And those people pay above market value. They don't have any strategy. That's reserved for them. Market value. That's reserved for the people who negotiate. They're going to feel for the bottom, but they don't actually know where the bottom is. So when you are in a car dealership, you are negotiating. If you're doing this, I warn against this. But again, you're not paying above market value, but I warn against this. Why do I warn against this? Because I spent 14 years in dealerships. You'll never know the bottom. And so if you're trying to feel for the bottom, you are playing a dangerous game because you don't know what rebates we have. You don't know what we own the car for. And so you're now negotiating and making deals based on what you think to be a good deal, what sounds good, what feels right. Dangerous game. Now, sometimes you can gamble and it can work out. But if you, when we talk about this third price, which is below market value is reserved for people who make people bid. And that's what we do. Here at Car, what we do is we make people bid and we guarantee we pay the bottom price. It's very different than negotiating. See, who doesn't like negotiating? Type me so I know who I'm talking to. If you don't like negotiating, type me. Now remember, negotiators pay market value. They're not going to pay above. You're usually never going to get a negotiator to pay above market value. But they can pay market value because they don't know what the bottom is. Now, when you're getting bids, those of you who are typing me, I see you, Nikki. I see you, Sunshine. I see you, Miss Nikki. I cannot. The best thing for you to do that will get you the greatest results is to stop negotiating and to start making people negotiate with each other. And that is called bids. So you could be the worst negotiator in the world. I see you, Norna. If you have 5 Nissan dealers submitting an offer to you, you're going to pay less than a negotiator. Someone who's in there negotiating with 1 Nissan dealer, you're going to pay less than them. And I'm going to tell you why. 80% of dealers are overpriced. They are never going to give you a below market deal. Who's heard a dealer say, that's my best offer? Most times they're not lying, especially if they let you walk out. If they let you walk out, that's their best offer. But that's not their competition's best offer. Lock that into your mind, because you know what we're big on here, unlearning and relearning. That's why all around me you see it, unlearning, relearning. You're not going to, a Nissan dealer in one city is a different best price than a Nissan dealer in another city. And so when you see how different these prices are, it's going to blow your mind. The same $35,000 Nissan Altima, one dealer is going to sell it over sticker to somebody. One dealer is going to sell it for $2,000 off to somebody else. Another dealer is going to take $4,000 off for someone else. They're all different. So the difference, Carla, is not just because I think we've answered your question on why someone would pay over sticker. They're not doing it because they want to. They're doing it because that's all they know how to do. If this is the best, they're doing that thinking, Carla, this is the best I can get. No one signs a car deal without thinking this is the best I can get. You get what I'm saying? So if they're signing it in their mind, I can't do any better than this. And most times they're right. With no strategy, they're not will. This is what it is. We had tons of people during the pandemic paying over sticker for cars. And we all around, while the people we were working with were paying list price and getting discounts still. Felicia came in, she got a BMW in January 2022. This is still heavy pandemic. She got a $1,900 discount on her BMW. And you'll see a ton of people. I'll show you, if you guys have been on my streams, you'll see we show a lot of people's deals, because everybody who makes a deal using our system, they send the deals. And so that's the key, strategy. That's the reason. Learn strategy, and remember, there's 3 prices. Above market value for people with no strategy, market values for negotiators, below market values for people who make people bid. Now, if you want to know how to make people bid, we have the best system for doing that. That's my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships, because our entire process involves being at home, except for test drives and pickup of our car. We are not in dealerships negotiating. We're only in dealerships to test drive or pick up our car because they don't deliver. So 90% of what we do, and sometimes 100% with a new car, if they deliver, is done from home. So you can get your copy of my new book for 75% off, normally $97. And then you'll have the 7-step process for what we do. You won't pay $97 if you get there to my bio before that's my welcome offer. Some of you have been on here, you've seen my welcome offer. Book's $97, but you can get yours for $24 in my bio, in my Instagram bio, my TikTok bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments, and you'll see. But that's what I'm known for. I'm known for helping people step out of negotiating and come into making people bid. It's a different world. Okay? Go ahead, Dolan. We got a lot more questions coming in, so let me try to speed through a lot more of these. Go ahead. I just totaled a car thinking of getting a Toyota Highlander. Well, I mean, historically, Toyota's been a good car. I would decide first things first, am I going to buy or lease it? Now, buying or leasing, and first of all, I know we got a lot of people. Who's heard you should never lease a car? Type me in the comments if you've heard. Let's just get that right out the way. You heard, Deshaun, I heard you should never lease a car. Leasing is like renting. All of that, type me in the comments. You're going to see, if you're new here, we're going to dispel that myth very, very quickly. We spent a lot of time teaching people how much bad information. Who was taught never lease a car? This is the first. Oh, shout out to the people hitting the like button. I see y'all. Thank you. I see you, Facebook. Any platform you're on, if you're enjoying what we're talking about so far and you're going to spend some time with us, just hit the like button and start lighting it up. It means a lot. I appreciate y'all. So all of you that were taught never lease a car, the first thing you should be doing when you go to approach your car deal is deciding if you are going to buy or lease. This is step one in my process. Why is this so important? Because if you buy when you should have leased, you're going to lose in depreciation. You guys know, I always say like this. When you consider depreciation, this is your car's value. That's your car's value. If we buy a car today, all right, let's get into some dialogue, okay? Because I think we've been live. I see we got a couple people coming on every platform. Let's get some dialogue going now. Because in the beginning, we need a couple minutes for the people to start focusing and people start locking in once they see what we're talking about. All right, so now, let's say we buy a car, $40,000. What is that car going to be worth 1 year down the road? We bought it here, $40,000. Let's use this person's question when he's asking about a Highlander. Throw some guesses out there. Buy a car now for 40. What's the car worth in 1 year? Throw some numbers out there. Let me see. Let me see if I can go on Instagram because I can't see comment. Let's go dialogue. Throw some numbers out there. Come on. This is an active show. Like, we're talking numbers here. So we talk. This ain't the show you just watch and sit down and be like, oh, okay, yeah. All right, I watched that. Now I'm going to go out here and I'm going to save thousands on my car. No, the people who get the most out of what we do, you're on your keyboards, you're interacting, you're engaging. I ask you a question, you're answering it. Those are the people that's locked in. So you bought a car for 40. I see 32. I see 35. I see 28. I see 28. I see 20. Emily said that's 20. Or you lose half the car's value in a year. Now watch this. Emily, you might not be wrong depending on how much the person drove. See, I like that answer, Emily, even though, because it's dramatic, it's half the value. But watch this. Could a car that we bought for 40, if we put 100,000 miles on it in 1 year, could it be worth 20 a year later? 1-year-old car, 100,000 miles. Could it be worth half the value? Yes, it can. So now see, all of your answers are correct. All of your answers, 28, 20, 35. Why? Because it depends on how much you drove. Now we're getting into why leasing and the whole myth about leasing. Oh, you got to pay for every mile you use. Well, we just clearly proved a point. We didn't say anything about leasing, but we just proved the point that with a $40,000 car, we pay for what? The miles we use. If we were going to sell a car 1 year, and then a year later we come back and we say, hey, the car has 100,000 miles on it now. Can you pay me what you were going to pay me last year? And they're like, wait, you put 100,000? No, I'm paying you a whole lot less. So you pay whether you buy or lease. You pay for your mileage. So that is the first indicator of, all right, well, that means a lot of this stuff people have been saying about leasing doesn't quite make sense based on that so far. We're not even done yet. We're not even done. Now that we know we pay for our miles, whether we buy or lease, let's talk about when it makes sense to buy and when it makes sense to lease. So no matter what, when you drive your car, you're losing value like this. Brand new car, you're losing value like this. You're losing thousands. You threw out answers, you're going to lose $5,000 the first year, second grand. You're going to lose thousands of dollars. But the longer you keep the vehicle, the more this depreciation starts to do this. This is the reward stage. In my book, I teach us about something called the reward stage. Unfortunately, a lot of owners never get to the reward stage. The reward stage is a paid-off vehicle that's no longer depreciating fast. This is a vehicle, who has a vehicle outside their house right now that you've had for at least 8 years? Let me know. At least 8 years. And matter of fact, type the number of years you've had the vehicle. That's even better. Let me know the number of years. Sean, 10 years, 8 years, 12 years, 13 years. This is all a let. See, if I was doing a college course on leasing versus buying, this is exactly how we would be rolling it out. What you're getting right now would be my equivalent to a college course on helping people understand leasing versus buying very clearly. All right, 11 years you've had it. All right, 8 years. And I'm talking more than 8 years. So I see somebody type 6. More than 8 years, let me know. Not a lot of long-term people. This is a clue. Not a lot of long-term people. Now let me show you this. Now you saw the goal was to get here. We got a lot of people that are buying their vehicles, but they're not getting here. Which means if we know that that buying a depreciating asset, we're losing like this. What I witnessed in the car business for 14 years was people buying their cars, literally losing thousands, and right before their vehicle was going to stop losing money, like some of these people who have reached a point in depreciate. They've owned the vehicle so long, 8 years, 10 years, that it's no longer depreciating. It's going to be worth about the same next year as it is today. Soon as they get to that, they go and swap and say, all right, I'm tired of this vehicle. Let me go do this again. And they start the whole thing over again. This is what you don't want to do. Maurice, Andre, this is not what you want to be doing. Rita, I see you. You don't want to be buying vehicles that you then trade because you're always on this type of ownership experience. See, and you know who's very clear about this? Cash buyers. Cash buyers will never swap their vehicles over and over, because if you paid $40,000 for a vehicle and then you came to replace it in 2 years and they told you, well, that vehicle's only worth 28 now or 25, you'd be like, dang, I'm not losing that kind of money. But you know who gets in trouble with this? You know who has the biggest issue understanding leasing versus buying? Somebody I call payment buyers. Payment buyers never really understand the actual price they're paying for the car. They see, what's the first question that a car salesman asks you once he's helped you pick out a car and you're starting to get to the numbers? What's one of the first questions that a car sub, when you pick the car, you're like, I like that car, y'all at the numbers, y'all about to talk numbers. What is one of the first questions that a car salesman is going to ask you? And I'm going to help you understand why. Thank you, Little John. Look, and I don't have to tell you guys this. What do you want your monthly payments to be? Thank you, Carla. Listen. When the car business is predictable. That's the reason I could be on a stream, 100 people ask a question and I know the answers, because I know what you guys deal with and I know what I asked. You're not getting I'm trying to identify, are you a payment buyer? Because rather than try to educate you on why being a payment buyer is not good, as a car salesman, I need to make you think you won. And the only way you're going to think you won is not me showing you that even though you're getting a low payment, you really lost. You are, as a car salesman is going to try to get you to the payment. That is the goal. And so payment buyers go in and will buy a car and swap it out and then go into another car, and they never realize how much money they lost because their monthly payment is affordable. They don't realize, like, so what I get you guys to understand here, those of you who are locked in and who really perk up and realize, like, okay, we're talking financial literacy here. Let me lock in. Let me get serious. Let me go get me a cup of tea, drink some water, because we're talking about finances. We're talking about thousands of dollars here. So the leasing versus buying thing is strictly based on depreciation. We threw out numbers based on how much we're going to lose if we buy cars, depending on how much we drive them. $40,000 car, it could be worth 32 in a year. If I drive average miles, if I'm a high mileage driver, who drives more than 18,000 miles a year? Type HM. Let me know. If you are a high mileage driver, you drive more than 18,000 miles a year, type HM. If you bought a car for 40, that car could be worth 28, could be worth 28 in a year. So you're using what's killing you, not your monthly payment. You literally, we didn't talk about that. That doesn't matter. We're talking about what is the value of the car you're driving. That is what's changing based on your usage. That's what you pay for, whether you buy or lease, based on how much you drive. So now that you understand that, how do we pay the least? How do we minimize that? Okay, we're losing that there. Is there a way that instead of losing that 12 grand in a year, I could lose less? That's where the below market lease comes in. Or that's where your long-term buying comes in. In the short term, buying a depreciating asset, you can't win. There's no way you're going to change this. You could think you're buying a car that doesn't depreciate that much. Okay, you want to gamble? Market conditions? Who saw what happened with the electric car owners? Who's witnessing what's happening with the electric car owners, the people who buy them? The electric car market's so volatile right now, people were paying, they got to give them away. They're doing 15 grand off. Look, some of our biggest discounts for our people who listen to us are coming from electric cars. Milligan got $27,000. Look, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, you can see this. Milligan got $27,000 off. Wait, no, that's Melissa's deal. Hold on, we got a lot of deals to show. She bought a $79,000 Mercedes. She got it for $51,000. It's a Mercedes EQE, electric Mercedes. Beautiful. You see these new electric Mercedes? They're gorgeous. They look like beautiful machines on wheels. She got $27,000 off. Sean, he got an F-150 Lightning, $73,000 vehicle. He got $21,000 off of it. That's the brand new market. That means the new market on these electric cars is very soft. They have to discount them. So when you get 5 grand off, 10 grand off electric car, you could be leaving huge money on the table. But the point I'm trying to make is in the buying, in the short term, you're dealing with the volatility. When we lease in the short term, we don't have the volatility. Let's take a person who leased an electric car. Look, Zafrina, 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $65,000 vehicle. She's paying $579 a month, no money down. Now, she's not worried about whether the price of that the value of that $65,000 Jeep is going to go down to 30. That doesn't matter to her. She's paying $579 a month over the next 3 years. Over the next 3 years to drive a $65,000 vehicle, she's going to pay 21 grand. She doesn't care if the value of this vehicle goes. So leasing protects you against depreciation, but you cannot pay market value. When you see these commercials, you cannot pay those prices. That won't matter. You have to, if you're not getting below market leases, none of this matters. So 2 ways we're going to beat depreciation. Long-term ownership, where it doesn't matter because, all right, first couple years it looks like this, but I own my vehicle so long, now it's barely depreciated. That's going to be 8+ years. That's why rule number 1 in my book, step number 1 in my book is the 8-year rule, which says if you're not buying a vehicle to keep 8 years, you should not be buying. You should be shopping for a below market lease. But those of you who like Deshaun, I keep my cars at least 10 years. Should I be leasing? Will that save me money? No, it won't. Don't even think about leasing. Keep doing what you're doing. You have the discipline to keep a vehicle, maintain it. Things go wrong, you're not flipping out of that vehicle. We got a joke. When somebody, a keeper, we call you keepers. When you got a vehicle that you're going to buy, it's a keeper. But when a keeper's transmission goes out, Dad, man, my car transmission went out. What do? They go get another transmission. If you're not a keeper and that transmission goes out, you're like, oh, man, I'm getting rid of this car. Keepers do things different. You should not be thinking about leasing when you're a long-term person, and some of you are. But if you're like Deshaun, I don't even like doing the maintenance. Man, stuff start breaking. I don't like having to go to the mechanic, fix that. I hate that. You should not be buying these cars. You should be shopping for below-market leases. All right? So that was a long answer to one question, but we used it as an opportunity to really lay the foundation for leasing versus buying, because we had a lot of people who, when I asked them who was taught not to lease, a lot of people said me. So I'm like, all right, we gotta hit on this while these people are locked in. So we'll go deeper on that. Let's go. Let's get to the next question, Dola. Everything I'm teaching is out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Let me show that we're already 5-star rated. Thank you to the people who reviewed it. We got lots of reviews on the book, and you can Google it. You can get your copy for 75% off. It's normally $97. It's a digital book, so it'll be in your inbox in 2 minutes. As long as you get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments before the 30 minutes is up, you get your copy for $24 instead of $97. But that's my welcome offer. 30 minutes, go get it. You can come back to the stream, and you'll have everything we teach. You won't even have to remember any of this because you'll have a blueprint that you can refer to forever. That's going to show you how to get below market leases, below market purchases on new cars, below market used cars. Everything from my 14 years is in that book. All right. Let's go, Dolan. Throw the next question up. Shout out to the sharers. I see you, Brianna. Thank you for sharing. Thank you to the people who share. We couldn't do this without you. The people who hit the like button, who hit the share button, we appreciate you helping us spread this message. All right, Emily, I want to trade my car in. How do I start the process? First thing is to ask yourself, how many years are you going to keep the next car? Before you think about the trade-in, how many years are you going to keep the next car? So everybody who's car shopping now, or you will be soon, I want you to answer this question. Type this. How many years are you going to keep your next car? How many years are you going? I want you to get into the habit of, that's the first question. In my book, when you open it up after the introduction, step 1, my book is 7 steps. First step, if you call me on the phone, Deshaun, I need your advice. I want to buy a car. What's my first step to do? How many years are you going to keep the next car? First question. Let's throw it out. All right, Kelly, 2 to 3. Countess, 3 years. Okay. Emily, hey, Countess, great to see you. Emily, 5 to 7. How many years? Everyone who's car shopping, if you know you'll be car shopping now or within the next 6 months, I want you to let me know how many years are you keeping the next car. 10 to 15. Okay, Nisi Wu, perfect. Let's go. Some of you don't know. So because you've never asked yourself that question. And I get it. You can't invest in a depreciating asset without asking how long you plan to keep it. Any financial advisor who is talking about a stock that is going to go down in the short term would want to know, what is your investment plan? Are you a short-term investor, or are you going to ride the market out? They're asking you that to determine how you can deal with short-term volatility. a person who's not going to keep a stock for 10 years has to plan different than a person who will keep a stock for 10 to 20 years. That's the first question when you're dealing with something volatile. So I want you to ask yourself, all right, I see you, Patrick, 18 years. So look, any one of you who said 5 to 7, 3, you should be shopping for below market leases. If you said 8 or more, I see you 10 to 15. Patrick, 18 years. You should be shopping for purchases, new or used. Now, we'll keep answering more questions. I always like to prove to people. See, my job is to prove to you because I'm coming against everything you've been programmed to do with this leasing stuff. But the biggest indicator of a great lease is super low payments. It's just super low payments. Now, you'll hear from people who have gotten leases, they pay market value, they pay above market value, and you hear their payment and you're like, I say to them, what the heck did you lease for? Your payment's so high, you shouldn't have leased. But it's not that I'm sorry, you shouldn't have leased. Your payment's so high, so when you compare a lease to a purchase, a salesman could say to you, well, you might as well just buy the car. Because the lease deal they're offering you is so bad that a purchase looks close to it. But when we look at Taupe. Taupe got a $54,000 BMW, $690 a month. That's a 1.26% lease. Her payment is 1.26% of the MSRP with no money down, no taxes, no fees. She gave them $690. She drove off in a $54,000 BMW. Danielle, $44,000 Audi Q3. Her payment is $550, no money down. She gave them $550. She drove off in a $44,000 Audi. This is a vehicle that would normally cost, some of you know our rule, financially, every $5,000 is about how much per month on a loan. Every $5,000 is about how much per month on a loan. Let me see how many people are locked in. Every $5,000 is about how much per month on a loan. Let's see. Thank you for counting. It's $100. Yes, thank you. So I want you to lock these rules into your head, especially those of you who don't have my book. Every $5,000. Yes, I see you, Inspector Joe. Perfect. Lil John, 120. If the interest rate's high, it could go to 120, but 100 is the good rule to estimate. Kelly, $100. Yes. So $100, which means this $44,000 Audi would cost her about $900 a month on a 5-year loan. Now, that's not even including taxes. That's just the MSRP of the car. Now, her $550 a month payment does include taxes. So if we were to add up taxes, but I'm just saying, let's say she got a discount. Let's say if the taxes were $3,000, let's say they took $3,000 off the car. We're being generous. Her payment's still $900 a month for 5 years. If she took a 6-year loan, maybe she's $800 a month. She's paying $550 for her lease. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it. See, I'm going to prove to you that if you were supposed to lease, based on the fact you're not keeping your cars 8 years, but you bought, you lost. There's no way to win. That's why most of you, when you figure this out, you're going to be like, Deshaun, should I switch to a lease now? Yes. If you don't have a large amount of negative equity that's going to stop you from switching, you should be getting out of that finance deal and switching to a better finance strategy where you could drive better cars for less money. Look at luxury cars. It still applies. This is Kimberly. Kimberly got a Maserati, $91,000 vehicle. She got it for $944 a month. That's a 1% lease. Her payment is 1% of the MSRP. Now I didn't create the 1% rule. All the savvy leasers know about the 1% rule. If you can get a lease deal, 1% of the MSRP or less, you stole a vehicle. That's a steal. Now, what I created was the 1.5% rule to know when you're overpaying for a lease. That's in my book. If your lease payment is over 1.5%, you're paying too much for that lease. It's a bad lease program, or either you haven't shopped around. And we don't go into the dealership and say, get me to a 1.5% lease. That's ridiculous. That's like saying, get me to if Kimberly went into the Maserati dealer and said, get me to 1.5%, her payment would be $1,200 a month instead of $900 a month. So key is understanding the range where all right, 1.5 is the max where that it makes sense to lease that vehicle, and then anything lower is just better, more and more value. But there's a lot of 1% leases. Greg has a 1% lease, $527 a month on a $56,000 Kia EV6. You saw Zafrina. Look, Jen. Now, this is a higher mileage lease. We had a couple people on here. You typed in HM. I asked every high mileage driver, if you drive more than 18,000 miles a year, type HM into the comments. HM. We had a lot of people type HM. Now, she drives 18,000 miles a year because there's a myth out there. I know all the myths about leasing. Deshaun, I thought you couldn't lease if you drove a lot. Okay. We have leases that you can lease literally most cars up to 30,000 miles per year. I see you, Kelly. So when you look at this, Jen, we always shop our leases with 12,000 miles per year. That's how we get our offers. In my book, I teach you how to connect with 25 dealers online in 20 minutes. Our entire shopping process to get below market leases takes no more than 90 minutes. First timers, though, give yourself 3 hours to work the process and to get bids, new cars, used cars, leases. But when she gets these offers, she gets her $39,000 Honda CR-V hybrid, $512 a month. That's a 1.3% lease. Once she got her best offer, she found a dealer. We use a system. I created a system called the 25 to 5. We connect with 25 dealers to get 5 offers. Because as I said, which you'll see when you use this, 8 out of 10 dealers, 80% are overpriced. There doesn't matter how much you negotiate, they're not going to beat the lowest price. That's just what they do. If they can't make a bunch of money selling the car, they won't sell it. And that's okay. We don't care about the 80%. We just buy from their competition. We find the 20%. So she gets her $512 a month lease, and then she had them adjust it from $512 to 18,000 miles a year, and it's $563. For $40-something, $45 more a month, she goes from driving 12,000 to 18,000. And that is, it's not being a high mileage leaser, unless you have no negotiation, unless you have no shopping strategy, being a high mileage leaser doesn't result in, I'm paying $200-$300 more a month than what I would get. All you're doing is adding a couple more dollars for your high mileage after you've already shopped your best deal, and you can drive as much as you want. Jen can drive her 18,000 miles a year, drop off her Honda after 3 years. If she bought that Honda and drove 18,000 miles, think about how much she'd be depreciating it. In 3 years, she got 56,000 miles. 4 years, she's got 70-something thousand miles. Think about how much that Honda would depreciate in 4 years with 70,000 miles. She's paying $563 a month. She'll drive it for 3 years and go do it again. She's never tying up her money in this vehicle. Not to mention, if she bought that vehicle and did a no money down deal like she did on her lease, $40,000 vehicle, taxes, everything, she's paying $800 a month plus. And she's going to have negative equity because she's depreciating it too much. So these are the principles. The first step, when you said, how do I start the process, Emily? First step is, how many years am I keeping the car? I call it the most important question. That's why it's first. If your answer is 8 or more, we're shopping for a below market purchase. A below market purchase could be a new car, could be a used car. If your answer is less than 8, I'm shopping for a below market lease. That's how you start the process. Step 1. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Next question. That's why I'm thinking of a 2-year lease. Now, 2-year leases, you only get them if they're advertising them. They don't design leases for 2 years because they want the cars back usually in 3. So 2-year leases usually don't have a good program, no support, bad residual values. They don't want the vehicles coming back in 2. They want them back in 3. So when we reach out to dealers, if there's a great 2-year program, they'll tell us about it. And shout out to y'all. Can y'all keep running those likes up on TikTok? Let's see if we can get to, I don't even know. I don't like to have a goal. Let's just, if you're enjoying what we're doing, every time you tap the screen, every time you hear something you like, just double tap the screen. Y'all see how fast y'all run the likes up. I appreciate y'all. Miss Nikki, when is the best time to buy? Now, that's a great question. Don't fall for marketing. Dealers have convinced you guys, and again, as a former Mercedes salesman, former General Motors salesman, I'm telling you from the inside, they've convinced you that the best time to buy for them is the best time to buy for you. The end of the month, best time to buy for a dealership, because we imagine, we got a lot of people here who, you're professionals, you're in business, and you work in the market. Imagine a business, right, where every single weekend you were going to get a ton of people, almost without even trying, because something had happened where they thought they were somehow going to get something better that you couldn't offer another time. That's just the way it goes. Like, somehow Friday comes, Saturday comes, it's a line. Now, hey, holiday comes, it's a line. Now, this is great for the dealership, because it's work you don't have to do. You don't have to spend a lot of money on advertising at the end of the month. You don't have to spend money on advertising when it's dead, because you're like, all right, it's nobody in the showroom. We need to get some customers in here. But Miss Nikki, when you ask the best time to buy, let me explain. I want you to lock something in your mind. What a deal is. A deal is when the dealer doesn't really want to make it. A deal is not when a dealer says, send me all your people, I'll give them the same deal. A deal is not when the dealer says, hey, we threw in the floor mats and we threw in a warranty for you. That means they had a lot of money left. A deal is when there's no money left to throw in anything. The deals that I've made that I remember that was so good for the customer, but bad for us as the dealership. Now I don't mean bad like we lost. I mean bad like we didn't make any money. We didn't want to repeat them. And I've had to tell the customers, listen, my business runs off referrals. I would appreciate if you refer friends and family to me, but do not tell them what you're paying, because I might not be able to repeat this deal. I can't promise you that I could repeat this. We don't want to do another deal like this. We'll do the best we can for them, but we can't repeat this. That's a deal. How do we get those? Whenever you see these people that I named and you see these prices and you see these discounts, Milligan got $27,000 off, Kimberly gets $20,000 off her Maserati. Tiffany Tiffany gets a Mazda. She got $6,500 off. Look, $44,000 Mazda. She saved 15% off the car. Brand new car. Dealers don't want to make these. These are deals. This is why commercials will never be deals. I want y'all to really, really lock these things into your head, because, again, it's smoke and mirrors. It's a fun house. It's a beautiful thing if you own a car dealership. It's a great business because the market's been programmed for decades. It's a fun house. We're going to come in at the end of the month. We're going to come into that. But think about this. Let me ask you a question. Sit up, get to your keyboard. I want to hear answers. When are you more desperate to make a deal? When are you more desperate to take off money and say, look, by any means necessary, I want to sell a car? When the showroom is a zoo and there's 200 people in here and there's balloons and you just ringing the bell, man, how many cars we sold today? 28. Wow, okay. Or when there's no one in the showroom. No one in the showroom, haven't sold a car all day, it's 6 p.m. When are you more desperate? When the showroom's full or empty? Full or empty? Full or empty? Showroom's full or empty? Thank you for Countess. Empty. Empty. Thank you, Nisi. Empty. Kelly. So I can't answer your question properly, Miss Nikki, without giving you the mindset of what a deal really is. And once you see that When they tell you to come is for their benefit. Why would I give you a huge discount when there's two people behind you who want the same car? So I really didn't tell you when the best time to buy is yet, but I told you when the worst time is. It's a gamble. If you're in there and you're looking at a bunch of cars and you got people all around you, could you possibly get a desperate person? But there's no desperation vibes there. There's no desperate energy. There's no, yo, we really need to. And you know how they'll fake it. And unfortunately, and again, I don't mind telling all the dealer secrets because I don't like the industry. I don't like what the industry did. The 20%, we're the 20%. We're the honest people. We care about our customers, but we let the wolves eat the sheep. We let the wolves put grandmothers and single mothers and middle-class families into high payments that they know they couldn't have. People charging them over list price. What happened during the pandemic was criminal. $10,000, $20,000 over list price, $5,000. Those people are buried today. Some of you unfortunately were in that bit. You're buried in your car. You bought a car for 40 grand that today is worth 18. You just bought it 2 years ago and you didn't, you're buried because they overcharged people by 10, 15 grand. That was the final straw for me with what I'm going to actually not hold back from what the industry does. So so that's the worst time to buy. The best time, so you can't control when a dealer's desperate. But when you shop the way I'm telling you to shop, when you use these online processes, whether you do it my way or your way, when you're shopping this way, you want to be positioned for a deal. Let me give you an example about position. You're positioned for when a dealer's desperate. I reached out a couple years ago for my mother's lease. I was shopping for her. She was buying a Mazda CX-5. Now, I reached out in October, 25 dealers. In my book, I use my system, the 25 to 5. That's what everyone who I showed their lease deal or their new car deal, they use the 25 to 5. Connect with 25 dealers. Purchases, leases, doesn't matter. You get big discounts. The best bidder is always going to beat everyone else by thousands of dollars. Now, I reached out in October. I didn't like the deals. I followed up with all the people who had cars in November. Hey, how did the deals look? Didn't like them. Dealer contacted me the beginning of December. Hey, I couldn't get to your number before. Hey, does this car work? I could get to this payment on it. Ooh, great payment. That's better than everybody else. Let's go. Done deal. He was desperate. See, you don't know when a salesman's gonna go, listen, I haven't sold a car all month. It's the 8th of the month. Look, I got one customer. Their offer was low. We didn't take it last month, but hey, can we do that deal now? Like, I need to get something on the books. Position. That's why in my book, I teach you how to have 2 dates. And in all my strategy, you have 2 dates. My as soon as date, that's as soon as I can make a deal. My no later than date. And when we reach out to dealers, I have a template. You use all my templates, copy and paste when you reach out to dealers on new cars and leases. Used cars is a different process. It's all online marketplaces. But when we connect with 25 dealers, you're using my templates. And one of the things we tell them is, I can buy a car as soon as today, but I don't need a car until this day. Spring. You might say, Deshaun, I don't need a car until next summer. That's really when I want to get it, but I can do it now, but I can wait till next summer. That's called leverage. Why? Because you have options. I can order a car. I can wait and watch the deals over a couple months. Like I just told you I did, 3 months, the 3rd month, the best deal came. So when a dealer knows that, see, what they're dealing with is people walking in, no strategy. I need a car this weekend. Cha-ching. Oh man, I'm looking. I've been to several dealerships. Nobody has a car. Oh man, I see you have one. Cha-ching. You're going to pay more for that. Thanks for telling me that information. This is how everything you say is being used against you. That's why when you use the car from home process, you're not talking. I'm never going to arm you. Remember the people, you might have used it. The scripts online, Google, download these scripts. What to say to a car salesman? Don't tell them you have a trade-in. None of that stuff works. That doesn't work. You don't think people know about that stuff? So that you can't, you're dealing with someone who negotiates 3 times a day, 5 days a week on cars. You might negotiate 3 times a day, 5 days a week, office equipment. So the point is, when you are positioned, when you're positioned, which means, I'm not always going to wait till the last minute to start to enter the market. You've been trained to just wait until you need a car to enter the market. I'm telling you that you might be in an emergency now. Look, if you're in an emergency now, you look at somebody like Ansley. Ansley started the process and he did it in 3 days. Got a 1% lease. He said 1 car down, 2 more to go. He's paying. He got a 2024 QX60, $58,000 car, $554 a month, first payment down, which is a no money down lease deal. $554, $58,000 vehicle. That's under 1%. He said, look, I started the process Saturday. I accepted a deal Monday. I told you, our process is a few hours. When you get good, it'll be 90 minutes to 2 hours. You can get any car. But in the beginning, first time, it's going to take you 3 hours, maybe 4. But the point is, positioning is where you want to be. Because when you are connected with so many dealers and they have your information and they know you can make a deal, but you don't have to make a deal now. They know what you want. They're going to get all the people out the way who are desperate now. All right. I see you, Mercy. I see you, Stevie. I know you want a car, but you know what? I can't get to this price. And I got all these people in the showroom now. Let me sell them a car, sell them a car, sell them a car. All right, let me sell them a car. They're not getting good deals, but look, let me just sell them. But they're right here. This is like low-hanging fruit. I see you, Stevie, but you said you don't need a car until later spring. I might make a deal with you, next week or next month. But right now, let me get to these people. Now, all of these people start going. Now, they're looking for people. Man, I ain't got nobody else to sell. Oh, Stevie. Oh, Stevie, man, I need a deal. All right, see, they can't give you the same deal they're giving all these other people that's in there with the desperate energy. They're gonna give you the, hey, listen, Stevie, and it's not a phone call. I know I'm simulating a phone. We don't talk to dealers. We don't talk on the phone. In fact, one of the things I do when you get my book is we actually set up a shopping phone number, Google Voice, send it to voicemail, so we never talk to dealership. Again, this is a McDonald's system for car buying. But anyway, hey, connect by email. Hey, Stevie, couldn't get to your number. Miss Anderson, couldn't get to your number before. Can we make a deal now? Because I think I spoke to my manager and I think we could get to your number. Desperate. Call me. Who wants a dealer to reach out to me when you're desperate? Type me. Type me if you're like, yeah, I like the idea of a dealer reaching out to me when they're desperate. That's what we do. That's positioning. I see you, Emily, Jeffrey, Robert. That's the name of the game. Okay? So if there is no purpose, you can't time when a dealer is going to be desperate. You can't time, but again, we didn't talk about the best time to buy a car because there's no best time. Again, you can't time that. You can only be positioned on the market to know, and it's a different strategy with used cars. So that's a different strategy. We get positioned a different way and we watch the market with used cars, but you know the worst time. Everyone who's been on here for the last 10 minutes, you now know the worst time to buy a car. Let all the people who want to go in there on Labor Day, go fill those showrooms up. They're going to serve y'all donuts and bagels until and keep you from leaving. Keep you from leaving, but you're not getting deals. There's no desperation there. We got a line of people. This is time to make money. People doing their most numbers. Hey, how many cars you sell today, man? I did 4. 4? Man, I almost got there. I got 3 though. This is a money-making day. This isn't. You want the salesman after you get your car to be like, dang, I ain't make nothing on that. Make it on the next person. Not us. So this is all what Cars from Home is about. My new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps of Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships, teaches you my exact system on how to get below market leases, below market used cars, below market new cars, step by step. I walk you through a 7-step process. Step 7 is delivery. And it's front to back. Everything's accounted for. There's no guesswork. You're not coming up with your own ideas. You bring your goals. You use our strategy. You don't need to bring me your strategy. Leave your strategy out there. Bring me your goals. Deshaun, I want this used car. Okay, use this system. I want to lease this. Use this system. And we can even talk about the stuff selling leases. Selling leases. A lot of people didn't know you could sell leases. That's all. So there's stuff in there. You're gonna be like, whoa, what are you talking about? I could sell. I might be able to make money on this lease. That's a bonus. You mean to tell me I might get a bonus out of this? I could sell this. So all in there step by step. But you can get your copy for it's normally $97. You can get your copy for $24, which is 75% off. That's my welcome offer. If you get to my TikTok bio, the link, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments before 30 minutes. That welcome offer is only for 30 minutes. Once that timer hits 0, the price does go back up to $97. It's worth every penny at $97, but 24 is better. So get there, get your book, and after you pay, be sure you screenshot the thank you page. You're going to see on that thank you page is the link to open the book. It says it right there. Click below to open the book in case you want to save it to your phone or your computer. I also email you a copy, but sometimes people type their emails wrong. So also on that page is my support team's email. In case you don't see that email hit your the book hit your email, you typed your email incorrectly. Happens all the time. Email my support team and we'll get you your copy over. So, all right, go get your book and then come on back to the stream before the timer hits 0. Go ahead, Dolan. Mike, what does certified mean on a used car? Great question. Also, how do I negotiate with CarMax no haggling policy? You can't. As far as I know, CarMax does not negotiate. So let's talk about your first question. Certified. Certified is a process of restoring a vehicle that is used to as close to new as possible when it comes to the components. So there's a full checklist of things that the service department is going to do on the car, everything from the windshield wipers to some certified standards. They even repair the upholstery to, just electronics. They're checking. Everything has been checked to make sure that it is of a certain quality. Here's what it does not protect against: previous owners' incompetence or lack of maintenance. So somebody connected with me the other day. They asked me, this is in my private group. I have a private group, so I don't answer private questions. If I'm not answering a question on stream, I can't do DMs. I can't do emails. But they were looking at this car and said, this car, one of the things that is a non-negotiable, remember this. If you have my book, you don't need to remember this. But non-negotiable when buying any used car, service records. We must see a Carfax. We must see service records. That is the biggest indicator of it. Well, there's one more indicator, but this is the actual biggest indicator is the DNA, what I call the DNA of a car. Certain cars have a history of the transmission going at 80, 90, 100,000 miles. You have a high chance of the transmission going at 80, 90, 100,000 miles. It's public record. We do a search. It takes us 5 minutes. Every single car that we are considering buying, you have to check the DNA of the car. With this search, we go to Google, we type in the year, make, model, initial quality, year, make, model, reliability, year, make, model, longevity. If we're buying, if we're leasing, we don't need to check. We don't need to check longevity. And we're skimming Google. That those first couple pages, we skim those Google articles to see if there's any bad data from the third-party sites, below average reliability, transmission issues, engine issues. We're going to see that. Now, what we did, that's the checking the DNA. You can't change the DNA of the car. You cannot take a car that has a history of electric problems and change that. Now, you might get lucky and say, wow, I didn't have any. But when it happens, You cannot be mad. It's built. It's the way the car is made. It's not. It wasn't your fault. What did I do? I took care of it. I maintained it. I changed the oil. I changed the brake fluid. That's the DNA of the car. So once we check that, now we move into our when we actually, now we've decided this car has good DNA. Now let's find the best one. Now that's when we're going to service records, because the car has good DNA. But if an owner did not maintain that car and they can prove it to you, that is not a risk I'm ever going to take. Hey, but I changed the oil myself, man. You know, it's not on the Carfax. I changed the oil myself. I'm sorry. That is not a risk I'm going to take. Because if you did not maintain this car properly, I can't be mad when something happens to it. So that is one of the biggest things that we look for. And they can certify a car, Mike, and it has very limited maintenance history. So you might think, oh, it's certified, it got to be good. If you look at that Carfax and you see serviced at 5,000 miles, 10,000 miles, 30,000 miles, there's a gap there. Wait a minute, what happened between 10,000 and 30,000? Where are the service records? I would never get that car. I don't know. Yet 20,000 miles. Maybe they did change the oil. Maybe they didn't report it, even though places like Jiffy Lube and Anco, small spots, they report. But maybe they didn't. I don't know what happened. And because I don't know what happened, for that reason, I'm out. So, and in terms of CarMax, guys, you're overpaying from CarMax if you're buying exclusively from them. You are overpaying. And I'm going to tell you why. CarMax has a history, so does Carvana, of paying more money than anyone to buy their cars. That's why in 2021, I began to teach people how to do the equity assessment, where we were selling our cars to CarMax, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant dealers through Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. This is our equity assessment process. We haven't really talked about it much in this stream, but step 2 of our process in my book is the equity assessment. This is when we find out the most money we can get for our current car or our lease if we're selling it. Once we get those 6 offers, that's going to tell us the highest value on the market for our cars. And these are cash offers. These are not like Facebook Marketplace people. These are companies you literally go, they look at the car, they inspect it, they come out, they give you a check. So we get those 6 offers. CarMax has historically been one of the people who pays the highest. They don't always win. And again, that's why we get 6 offers. So it's no way CarMax is always going. Sometimes it's Driveway. These are the 6 companies. Write these down. If you don't have my book, write this down. The 6 companies that you should get offers from are CarMax, Carvana, Driveway. CarMax, Carvana, Driveway. That's 3 online used car buyers. They operate a special system. They only sell used cars. The next 3 are websites that connect you with a local dealer to get a bid online. And that's Car Guru, Sell My Car, AutoNation, and Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. So we're getting 3 offers from dealers. We're getting 3 offers from the biggest online buyers in the country. 6 offers. CarMax historically is going to win a lot of those bids, which means they're paying more than anyone for their inventory. What does that mean when they go to sell it? Simple economics. You can't buy high and then sell low. You're out of business. So what they're depending on, Mike, is people like, I'm not going to say like you, even though you're asking exclusively at CarMax, seem like you're locked in onto a car at CarMax. And you probably want to haggle because the price is high. If you looked on other websites, in my book, I teach you how to look on 8 marketplaces. 8. AutoTrader, Cars.com, Car Gurus, Carfax. CarMax is on there. Carvana's on there. Driveway's on there. eBay Motors is on there. But CarMax is not exclusively on there because they're going to lose most of the time. And when we shop our markets, what we've seen historically is every car we look at, CarMax is usually not going to win. Sometimes they will, but most times they are not because they pay too much for their cars. So it's no point, and they don't negotiate. And in fact, now that you kind of know this, you understand they can't negotiate. If I paid this much money for this car, I got to sell it for more. I can't lose. So anyway, that's why we never exclusively buy from anyone. Everything we do is a bidding process. Everything we do, someone won. And that's what I want you to experience. I want you to, when you buy a car, when you get a loan, when you sell your car, not trade. If CarMax bought my Jeep in 20, when did I sell it? 2021. I sold my Jeep. They paid a ridiculous amount of money. They sold that Jeep to someone. They paid me at that time. It doesn't matter. It was a whole lot of money, but they won. They weren't the only offer I got. They won the bid. All the other companies lost. When I leased the vehicle from my mother, they won the bid. Everyone that I showed you so far on this stream, Ansley, the dealer he got this Infiniti from won the bid. He got multiple offers. This dealership won. Jen, when she got her Honda, that dealership won. Tasha, when she got this pre-owned Lexus, the dealership who had this pre-owned Lexus, not even 1 year old, $9,000 off, that dealership won. Where a dealership has to win, and when you start using our process, and again, if you want to try to do this your way, I don't care. Just get bids. Make sure that when you are buying something, you think about what I said about the Prego and ShopRite and Pathmark and Stop and Shop. You can walk into Stop and Shop, see Prego spaghetti sauce, $4.99. You go into Stop and Shop, same Prego, $5.99. You go into Pathmark, it's on sale today, $2.99. Same exact product, the garden vegetable. What's the difference? Where it's being sold from. So that's how you have to view the car market. That Nissan I'm looking at, you have it for one price. What is the dealer who has it? What does he have it for? What does he have it for? What does she have it for? And that's when you're going to win. That's when you're going to see. You've got to prove this to yourself. And that's what our entire system is about. Everything we buy, someone won a bid. That's why you could be a horrible negotiator. You're going to win with us because you're not negotiating for a deal. Essentially, all these people are negotiating with each other. So that's to answer your question, Mike. You learned about certified, and you learned why I would never exclusively be buying from CarMax. All right? Go ahead, Dolan. All right. Can we still negotiate in today's market, or is it more shopping online and choosing the best one? No. This is. And look, I never want to assume. I know a couple of you are still. All right. Let's just take this was a sweet question. Somebody just came onto the stream. They asked, "Can we still negotiate in today's market, or is it more shopping online and choosing the best one?" Now, let me say, let's say I'm a very nice car salesman. I consider myself to be a nice guy, but here's the thing: I could be a wolf. So the wolves can be nice guys and nice women. Sharks. Literally take your head off. Look, send you down the road with a smile, and look at the money that the dealership made. Man, we made $11,000 off. Our commission's $1,500. The reason I'm saying that is because if you walk in and a nice person can get you to ask them that question. Hey, let me ask you. You seem like a nice guy, Deshaun. Let me ask you, man. Can we still negotiate? I've been here. I see what the market's doing. I've been here. Can we still negotiate in this market? Now, what a wolf is going to say, and quite honestly, see, because a wolf can lie. 80% of dealers, 80% of salesmen can lie with a straight face. That's why we're looking for the 20%. But you don't know who they are unless you're home. When you're talking to one, you can't say, you're a 20% dealer. That Deshaun Auto Advisor, he taught me about people like you. I can tell you, you're 20%. No, 20% win. They win. If you ask them that, they're going to say, Well, you know the inventory is limited, right? And you know there was a strike. You remember last year? It's like we wanted the prices to go down. Like, I always like to make deals for people like you. And, I love being able to take money off and get you to where you want it to be. But pandemic got limited inventory. Then we went and we got a strike. You remember the union worker strike? Now interest rates are very high. There's always going to be something they can say. That's why your innocence and your asking and your trusting of them is what some of you got the car salesman at your barbecue. You're bugging. You're bugging. And let me tell you something. A car salesman who will earn your business each time. This is how you're going to know. This is how you're going to know. When you start using the Cars from Home system and the same dealers, the same people that sold your grandfather cars and your mother cars, and now they've been selling you cars, and they've been selling it for 30 years. They've been in the business. Come on now, you know me. When you start saying, all right, Charlie, when they see your name come through on the computer, instead of you walking in the dealership, now they're gonna get on the phone with you. They're gonna try to call you. Hey, Sue. Hey, I just saw you put in an internet inquiry for your car. What? Why didn't you just come in? Why didn't you give me a call? Well, actually, I want to do this whole thing online this time. I know we're in 2024 and, I don't really love the coming in and spending. I just want to do it online. And, I'm just getting a couple offers just to make sure that the price is good. Oh, come on. So when can you, if you hear that, he's been making big money on you. He's been making big money on you. And the trust leads to you not shopping. Everyone, and lock this in. See, there's a couple things, mindset things. See, I could teach you the nuts and bolts, the how-tos. That's the simple. I need you to get the mindset first. When we talk about the things we've been discussing on this stream or more, yes, we're going nuts and bolts, but there's mindsets I want you to lock in. Worst time to buy a car. No longer am I asking the best times. I know the worst times. When we look at the competition aspect, once you start making a dealer compete who you've been buying from, you're going to see that they were making a lot of money on you, and they're going to get mad when you start making them compete. They're going to get mad. And that's what you need. You need to know that. Now, somebody who doesn't care about their money, hey, man, listen, man, is it really that serious? No, all right. It's only the second most expensive thing you're going to buy in your life. No, it's not that serious. It's only behind your house, second most expensive thing, and you're gonna do it every couple years, but it's not that serious. If you'll go and spend $40,000 on a car quicker than you would invest $40,000 in a business. Look, some of you, if you were starting, shout out to the sharers. I see all the people sharing. I appreciate you. I'm glad y'all are enjoying the show. If you were starting a business for 40 grand, how serious would you take that? How serious would you take that? You got lawyers, you have business consultants. You're gonna be like, you're praying, Lord, is this the right thing to do? I don't want to make the wrong decision. This is for same 40,000, but we're going to make a $40,000 decision on a car like that. If we were talking right now on this stream about investing 40 grand and protecting, if I was a business consultant, I'm like, hey guys, you're about to invest 40,000, 60,000, 100,000 in a business. Let's make sure you have what you need to protect that so that you don't lose it. People be locked in. Yeah, I can't lose my money. We talk about cars. It's like, Sean, is it really a serious, man? This sounds like you're making cars. Now, this is the easy way because, again, that's programming. That's all that is programming. Why do you think, look, all you see around me is what? Unlearn, right? Unlearn. Because once it clicks that, yeah, I do things with cars that I don't do with other things. Why do I go out and get a $50,000 car in a weekend? Why do I do that and not do real due diligence and shop the market and move the way I would do with anything else? It's programming. That's why if you own the car dealership, the last thing you want is somebody changing. Don't change anything, y'all. Keep this register rolling. Welcome, guys, at the end of the month. You came at the right time. All of that. You don't want it to change. So my goal is to break that programming, get you to see how much money you've lost. We can't think about it. A lot of money been lost by you not having shopping strategy. No problem. Now let's get that money back. Let's make it up. My next deal, I'm not only am I going to save a ton of money, I'm going to enjoy it because I'm doing it from home. But absolutely, we can negotiate in today's market, but we don't negotiate one-to-one. We negotiate one-to-many. One-to-many. That's called getting bids. That's the name of the game. And you can see the money that you can save and that you will save on every single car from now on is going to blow your mind. And you'll be like, look, I think, who was it that says Teddy. Teddy said, look, I will never, this post is a bit wordy, but I'm too pumped. I will repeat, never lease another vehicle any other way. Now, if he had bought it, he would have just bought. This is the same system for new cars and leases. Multiple dealers, 25-5. Look, he said, from start to finish, this deal took 6 days. I contacted 25 dealers in 4 nearby states. Look, closed on a 2024 BMW i4 M50, $73,000 vehicle. His payments $856. $73,000 vehicle that would normally be about $1,500. That's about $1,500 a month on a 5-year loan. He gets it for $856. Now, the dealer's initial offer came in at $937. He's paying $856. In my book, I have a calculator where you type it in. It sends you counter offers. I told you, it's a McDonald's system. My book is a McDonald's system. But here's the part I want. This is the most important part of why I'm showing you this. Look, if you're on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, you can see this. My highest offer during this process from a different dealer was $1,123 a month. Think about the Prego, Pathmark, Stop and Shop, ShopRite. Prego spaghetti sauce there, it's $1, $2, $3 difference. Cars, $2,000 difference, $10,000 difference, $8,000 difference from store to store. But here's another thing. Look at what his closest dealer, my local dealer came in at $986. That's Charlie. That's Charlie that been buying cars from. Live down the street. I'm 20 minutes away from you. What do you mean you want to shop around? Come on, how many years you been buying cars? His closest dealer, $986. If he would have went in there, he would have left $160 a month on the table. You cannot trust these people. Just get out of the emotion. Stop letting them get you emotional, talking numbers in the dealership. Use the computer. The computer is your friend. I'm going to tell you what websites to go to. Everything you need in terms of power is in your computer. This is the internet. If you can't sit at home, if I couldn't help you sit at home, have dealers bid for your business through email, and if you're shopping for a used car, going on websites and narrowing things down and then looking at the market and then pulling the original price. We haven't talked much about used cars on this stream, but pulling the original price of the car, that's step 5 in my system. You can't get a used car without knowing the original price. Let me say that. See, I'm also answering a lot of questions too. See, the reason why I do this too is because I see we'll have daggone 30 questions waiting, right? But I know as I go over some of this, people are like, oh yeah, that was my question. Oh, that was a question I was going to ask. I narrowed my search down on my used Infinity truck. I bought it about 2 years ago. It was 3 years old when I bought it. So I use in my book for my used car strategy, you're going to follow what's called the multiple marketplace strategy. We're looking at every marketplace for a used car. We hit a little bit about that earlier with Mike. He was asking about CarMax. You never want to shop one used car marketplace for a number of reasons. That's like you just going to Walmart and not shopping at Amazon, not checking Amazon, not checking Best Buy. You're about to buy a expensive item. So when I was when I narrowed it down, one of the things I noticed, and I never saw this before, but I knew it could happen. One vehicle that I was looking at on Carfax had a different price on cars.com. Now, I know how that happened because being in the dealership, when we update pricing on a used car, it doesn't hit every website the same time. So one of the things I'm big on, and I made a video about it, is you never negotiate on a car without seeing it online. So if you're looking at a car on the showroom and they don't have a price on it, that's a tactic. Never even negotiate on that. When you see a used car and there's no price listed, it's not online, don't negotiate on it because it's a tactic. We can make up a price and they'll just start, negotiating off a made up price. So, but I knew that they lowered the price, but it didn't hit this website yet. It hit this one first. That was showing 32, but this one was still up at 34. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. So if the person only shopped on cars.com, they're going to see the 34 price, right? Makes sense? Type $ if that makes sense. This is the reason why we always want to shop multiple marketplaces. One of the reasons. Now, when we narrowed this thing down, a lot of you end up with your top choices on a used car, right? It's pretty much what everybody does. You look, okay, I like these 4. That's where I was with the Infiniti. How you make your decision is very different than how I teach you to make the decision, because you usually just go with your gut or something like that. All right, well, these all look good. They got similar miles. Boom, pictures look good. All right, let me go see this one. Let me tell you why that's the bad choice. I got 4 Infiniti trucks. I'm looking at them. They're all white. I can see they're all similar miles. Lowest one's miles was 26,000. Highest one's miles was, what's up, Alex Barty? Maybe 36, 38, maybe. They're all in a mileage range that I liked, right? They're all white. And I'm like, okay. First thing we do is verify fees. First thing we do, verify fees. Some people are not going to charge this price. They're not going to honor that online price. Who's gotten to a dealership, they saw a price online, price looked good, they get in their car, you get in your car, you drove all the way there. When you get there, you found out it wasn't the price. Type me. I would tell you, if you're on your phone, type the mad emoji, because that just pisses you off. It's a waste of time. Last weekend, somebody just experienced that. Saw the price online, price looked good, got in the car, hey, I saw this car price online. You get to the dealership, that wasn't the price. Right? Look, all right, now we got the mad emojis coming in. That happens because they had no intention to sell the car for that. And it's based on, first of all, never do that again. Okay? Never do that again. And because that's why they do it. As long as people keep coming, they're going to keep doing that. So here's what we do. We always verify fees. Call, hey, may I speak to a manager? Hey, I see a car here. Just want to verify, besides the price online, what fees do you charge? Tax, title, DMV. Sounds good. Tax, title, motor vehicle fees. I'm sorry. Tax, documentation fee, motor vehicle fees. Those are the 3 real fees. Every dealership I worked at for 14 years, those are the 3 fees. Never had a dealer. There are dealers that just make up fees. Prep fee, marketing fee, internet fee, all of these fees, low jack fee. I've never worked at a dealer that actually had made up fees. I think that's an integrity issue, but there's tons of dealers that do it. You can't waste your time, and I'm going to tell you why. People say, well, if I do that, Deshaun, I just walk out. I ain't buying that. Well, you wasted your time. You lost. When you get in your car, drive to a dealer, talk about the car, find out the car's overpriced, leave, drive your car home, you wasted 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of your time. And you still need a car. So you want to verify fees before you come. But now this is what we do. This is the step we take that most people don't take. And I teach you how to do this in my book. I'm looking at the 4 Infinities. I pulled the original price of the vehicles, and I see that one Infinity was $46,000 when it was new. One Infinity was $48,000 when it was new. One was $52,000 when it was new, and one was $54,000 when it was new. Very big difference. See, if you bought a used car in your life, type the letter U. Type the letter U. If you bought a used car, type the letter U. If you did not get the new price of that vehicle, there's no way for you to confirm if you truly got a great discount. You bought the vehicle based on some artificial market value that they tried to show you. Algorithms. If I would have bought the vehicle that had a little lower price, $800 less, but brand new, it was only $46,000. I just passed on a vehicle with $8,000 more equipment in it, $8,000 more packages in it. This happens a lot with cars. You got special packages, sport package, special edition. See, the benefit to us doing this is when those cars come in, the owners don't usually get the most money for them. The dealers usually pay less because you get a person who had all this nice equipment in their car. When the dealer trades it, which is why we don't trade, so much we couldn't talk about on this show. Like, we could be on here for 4 hours just and not repeat a subject. It's just, again, that's why the book is there. But anyway, but when a person gets all this fancy equipment, most times when they trade it into a dealer, the dealer's not giving them all the money based on those special packages that they got. They're paying them a little more than what the normal would pay. So when they resell it, they're selling it around the normal price, maybe a little more, but it has a lot more equipment. That's value. When I bought this Infinity truck, it was around the same prices of those other 4, asking price, but it had a lot more equipment in it, which means it was more value for me. That's the name of the game. We never buy a used car without getting the original window sticker. So this is all in my digital book. Single pay leases. All right, let's talk about that because I don't really get that question a lot. Single pay leases are, first of all, for everybody who, this is, if you're like, you've been on the stream we've been on an hour and a half almost. This is one. Look, if you're like, Deshaun, I'm not gonna remember all of this. I would like everything, the blueprint. That is my new digital book, Cars from Home. 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. It's currently 5-star rated. You can Google it, type that title into Google. You will see all the reviews on goodreads.com. It's normally $97. It's a digital book, so it'll be in your inbox in 3 minutes. But if you get to my welcome offer is 75% off. It's for 30 minutes. So you can get it instead of $97, you'll pay $24. If you get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments or the Facebook comment, there's a link there. And then you'll click the button that says special, welcome offer on book, 75% off. As long as you get there before the timer hits 0, 30 minutes, you can get it for $24. And make sure after you get the book, you screenshot the thank you page because it has my support team's email in case you type your email wrong. But also, as soon as you get the book, you'll see a link to open the book. You might want to just save it right to your phone or your computer right then and there. But I also email you a copy of the book. But we do have people sometimes, they're trying to get there before the timer goes and then they type their email wrong. So in case you don't see that book in your inbox in 10 minutes, email my support team. but get there before the 30 minutes is up, because even though the book's worth $97, I would never price a book at a price it's not worth. It's worth more than that. I could have did a $247 book. All right, my book's $247. People would know, God, that book's $247. I'm just gonna save some serious money using it, and you would be correct. But I said no, I'm gonna do $97, and then I'm gonna do a welcome offer, just because I want people to have the information. I don't want people to. I want the people to have the information. I don't want money to be a barrier. Oh, the reason I couldn't get Deshaun's book and save the money is because it's $247. You know, $97, everyone can get it, especially if you're buying a car. I also teach you how to do, our entire philosophy is based on no money down deals. So everything we shop for is money down optional. So we're going to get below money. We're going to get below market deals. All our leases, we shop with no money down. All our used cars, new cars, no money down. And that's how you should be shopping. Because when you go out and you shop with payments in mind, money down, that just confuses you. You think you got a good deal, but you're really just thinking about your monthly payment. So Kelly, you asking about single pay leases. So single pay leases and multiple security deposits, this is something I call advanced leasing strategies. So when you look, it's in my book. I have a section on multiple security deposits and one pay leases. Now, the purpose of these things is to buy down the interest rate on the lease. So if the interest rate is high on the lease, these options are going to make sense in some cases. And if the interest rate is low, then these options are not going to make sense. Now, you are comparing a single pay lease to a standard lease. Let me pull up somebody who uses our stuff, got a great lease deal to actually use as an example. Let's go. Oh, you know what? Oh, I actually have somebody who I taught who got a single pay lease. Where is Rosalie? Hold on. She didn't do a single pay lease. She did multiple security deposits. So where is Rosalie? Hold on. Okay, because I don't get this question a lot. This question, the reason it's advanced is because everyone doesn't have the additional disposable income to support a multiple security deposit scenario or a single pay lease option. So now, Rosalie, let me read her post. 2024 Infiniti QX60, MSRP $59,975. Said reached out to several of the lowest hold on. She's so excited because Rosalie was a negotiator. So when she started using bidding, it made her life easy. She wrote this long post. Hold on. All right. Where's her payment? $592. So her payment's $592 on a $59,000 vehicle. That's a 1% lease, right? So she inquired about multiple security deposits. Multiple security deposits allowed her to, now let me do this because this is some advanced teaching. Again, this is not for everybody, but I do want people. I worked for Mercedes for years. We always had to have one pay leases and multiple security deposits ready because we had a lot of people who was considering these things. So here's how you consider it. She would be looking at her standard lease deal, $592 a month, $59,000 vehicle, one pay lease. Add up, what am I paying over 3 years? $592 a month. What am I paying over 3 years? Over 3 years, $21,000 to drive a $60,000 vehicle, not even including the taxes. This does include the taxes. $21,000 to drive a vehicle for 3 years. Now, work me up a multiple security deposit option. Multiple security deposit option, $5,400 she puts down. Monthly payment reduces to $493. Okay, so I'm going to let you hold $5,400. You are going to now use that for 3 years. I get it back at the end of the lease. This is the same thing with a one pay lease. You're paying all this money up front. They're holding that. They're going to invest it. It's their money for 3 years, but it's in the contract. It comes back to you after. Now, $493. Now, she's giving them $5,400 and her payment's going down from $592 to $493. Let's call that $100. So $100 a month times 36 months, $3,600. So in exchange for me letting you hold $5,400, this is what I'm getting back in terms of net money. This is what I'm saving. See, because if I don't do this, now I'm paying $592 a month. $592 is more than $493. So if I let you hold this, I actually get this back. Now I have an advanced leasing calculator where, if you get my book, if you have my book, because again, these things are proprietary. Like these are our intellectual property. These are our proprietary things. These are the things my members use in cars from home that shop with me. I have a calculator I invented that you put the first offer in, and then you put the one pay offer in, and it tells you if it's worth doing. It tells you the return. You're comparing the return. That's all that matters. With a multiple security deposit scenario or a one pay lease, how much am I getting for letting you use my money? How much net money am I saving for letting you use my money for 3 years? And that's how you view it. Now, in some cases, it doesn't make sense. You'll see, all right, my payment's only dropping by $20 a month for letting you use almost $5,500. That doesn't make financial sense. That's how you weigh it. That's how you weigh it. Great stuff. I don't get to talk about that much, but I'm glad you asked that. So, yes, you will get that money back at the end of the lease. Absolutely. But you're comparing the return. You need to shop the original offer first and then look at what is my offer with it. Oh, you bought the book this morning. Okay, so do me a favor. Send me an email to the book, to the link you got. Do me a favor, because who will see this? If you send an email back to that book, then Sandra should see it, and just say Deshaun told me reach out for the advanced leasing calculator. Because again, I don't think I have it in my book. It's in my class. I have an online class where I teach this, but just send an email to the same email that you got the book, and I'll send you the link. And then all you do is just get your offers and then get the offers afterwards with the one pay lease, and then just put them into the calculator, and then it'll tell you if it makes sense to do. Okay, a lot of stuff that I've made, I just wait till y'all see what's coming. Anyway, the people who are with me early, you understand, you'll know early, but Car From Home software will be launched very soon. We built 7, in my book, I have 5 calculators that we built. Like, I can't even sit here. These are calculators that you'll be like, yo, the perfect budget calculator. I don't see this on Google. It's not on Google. We invented it. The counter offer calculator for purchases. We invented it. The true value calculator. You put the original price of the MSRP of the used car and then the asking price, and you compare it. That's the true value discount. That's how we shop used cars. So I can't tell you everything that's in the book. It's like, I could tell you, like, I told you, like 20, 30, 40%. You'll see it and be like, wow, it's like, there's tons of surprises in here. I'll link you to videos to watch this. Anyway, this has been one of our longer streams, but I think it was good. Everyone who, you enjoyed it, I'm glad you were here. I'm glad. I hope you got, if you were locked in, you got value, because we went over so much. But a big part of why we have to do things this way, in my book, I have different paths. We're talking to different, you have a different profile than everyone else on here. You're leasing right now. That's a different profile than the person who's purchasing. That's a different profile than the person who's purchasing and needs to replace their old car. That's a different profile than the person who's purchasing and they're a high mileage driver. That's a different profile than the person who wants to pay cash. So my book is set up in a way where it's paths for each person. If you're leasing, you're not reading about pre-owned cars. That's just going to confuse you. So you pressed it. It keeps you on a path. You're on a certain path. But we're answering questions based on everyone. It's not just you. 20 other people in different scenarios. So that's the reason why one size fits all car buying advice will never work. All of y'all should be doing this. You'll very rarely hear me say that. I'll give you a whole principle. Hey, all of you should be asking yourself how many years I'm keeping the car so you can determine if I buy or lease. That's a question we all ask, but the answers to it is going to put us in different categories on whether we buy or lease. And then whether we buy, should we buy pre-owned or new? So you need custom strategies. That's what Cars from Home is. It's custom based on your scenario, a specific path for below market leases, below market new cars, below market used cars, high mileage driving strategies. There's two short-term strategies for high mileage drivers: a below market lease, high mileage lease. We talked about Jen earlier, or there is a strategy we call 2 cars, 1 payment, where you buy 1 car, you shop for a car, your first car, you pay it off, and then you go lease your second car. You have 1 payment, but now you have this car that you put your mileage on. It's kind of going to get old over the 7 to 8 years, but you got your new car that you're rotating, and now neither one of those cars you're putting a lot of miles on. You might do 12,000 on the lease, 12,000 on the old mileage car, and now you got 1 payment and 2 cars. One is a nice car. So these are things that, it's custom. That's why people win with what we do, because it's not a blanket approach. So all of this is in my new digital book. You can grab your copy for 75% off in my TikTok bio, in my Instagram bio, in the YouTube comments, or in the Facebook comments. Click those links and then click the button that says 75% off my new book. It's already 5-star rated. You'll have it in your inbox in 3 to 4 minutes. And make sure after you pay, as long as you get there before 30 minutes is up, you will have a 75% discount. You won't pay $97. It'll be $24. And after you pay, save the screenshot with my team's email, because in case you type your email wrong, you have my support team's email. So, all right, I'm gonna check out. This is one of our longest streams, and I need to eat. I need to get some. This water is not doing it for me. So, grab your book. Continue to unlearn. I want you shop empowered. Step out of the old way. Trust the process. This is McDonald's here. Do not bring your strategy here. Leave your strat, bring your goal. That's all. Get your book, bring your goal, forget the strategies there. This is the McDonald's system. It says the fries, beep, beep, take the fries out, put 2 shakes of salt. Shake, shake. That doesn't mean 3. People will be, hey, Deshaun, I went to this website. I got the book. I went to this website, and it says, I looked at the lease deals. It says I need $3,000 down. When did you hear me say in the book, go to a website? Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. That's okay. Everyone, you just unlearn. Trust the process. You're bringing your old over here. You can't mix old with new. You can't mix. Look, Jesus said you can't put old. You can't put old. Old wine. What did he say? New wine and old wine skins. Don't mix. So when you come to our way, leave everything you learned about shopping at the door. Trust our process. Success is guaranteed. So thanks for chiming in. I'll see y'all on the next stream. God bless you. Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. I'm your host. I'm known as Deshaun, the Auto Advisor, publicly. If this is your first time ever joining a stream or seeing me, I want you to type a 1 in the comments. Welcome to the first time people. Welcome to the first time people. I always like to acknowledge the first time people and let you know what we do here. All we do is focus on teaching you insider strategies to pay less for cars than everyone else is paying. Most people are overpaying for their cars right now. They don't know it, but they're going to complain to you about it. They're going to say, oh, everything's high. Or, oh, man, there's no car deals out here. They're broadcasting this stuff. But we've been getting great car deals. I've been getting them since, I'm from the car business, but I've been helping people get great car deals since 2021. Through the pandemic, there's always a below market. And that's what you have to realize. I don't care what the market's doing. When the market's high, there's a below market price. Market comes down, there's a below market price. There's three prices that you can pay for any car. Any car you choose, there's three prices. Market value, that's what most people are paying, and that's what people negotiate. Negotiators pay market value. They'll drive down trying to fill for the bottom and try to get the best deal. But then the people who can't negotiate, they pay above market value. They'll pay $3, $4, $10,000 over market value because they think I guess that's what this is my only option. But paying below market value and guaranteeing that you're paying below market value is reserved for the people who get bids. What does that mean? You make dealers compete. When you make dealers compete, you start buying cars like you buy everything else in life. Everything you do in life, most of it, you're actually making people compete for your business. When you go into the grocery store, you don't just walk in and pick up one spaghetti sauce. You look around. You're looking at all the brands. You're looking at all the prices. You do it in a split second. If you needed a television, you don't just walk into Best Buy and pick up the first 80-inch television set you see. You look at Best Buy, Walmart, Amazon. You're looking at tons of sellers in minutes. That's what we do with cars here at Cars from Home. Everything we do is about competition and driving down prices through competition. So this entire show is going to be sponsored by my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get a copy as part of my welcome offer to you for 75% off. The book's normally $97. It's worth every penny. You can Google it. It's 5 stars. But as part of my welcome offer, you can get your copy for $24 if you get to my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, Facebook, or YouTube links. Click those links and then get there before 30 minutes is up. The welcome offer is for 30 minutes. And everything we'll be talking about over the next, hour or so is going to be out of this book. So start typing your questions and we'll bring them into the show one by one. Now, the reason why you need a process, as we start getting questions, as soon as we start getting questions, Dolan, you can bring in the first question. Until then, I'm going to lay out this 7-step system. The reason why a system is important is because if you don't know where you're at in the process, you're going to be doing things later that you should have done earlier. Give you an example. Most people have taught you should be trading your car in. Don't tell them you have a trade until after you've already went to the dealership, picked out a car, negotiated the car, and then agreed on a price, and then you spring your trade on them. We never do that, because what ends up happening is if you bring your trade in late, first of all, you wait all this time, you tie up hours and hours of time, negotiate, and then you talk about your trade in. Now you have literally, what if they don't give you what you want? And then you'll find out in our process, we never trade cars to begin with, because that dealer is never going to pay you what a buyer like CarMax or Carvana or Kelly's Blue Book Cash Offer or any of these big buyers who buy cars, like thousands of cars a week around this country they buy. So the reason a process is important is it eliminates you needing to think, what do I do next? What do I do first? So you'll see as we, you can bring in the first question, start typing your questions, and we'll get to as many as possible. Go ahead, Dolan, bring in the first question. What's up, Todd Eddington? Larry Young, good to see you. Trey 97, type your car shopping question. Lily, could you please advise on leasing or buying a utility truck? You want to look at depreciation. If you're making a decision right now, cars are depreciating like crazy. You had 3 years of cars not depreciating, cars appreciated. They went up in value. That's never happened before. So all through the pandemic, people's cars were going up in value. That's why you could buy a car in 2019, sell it in 2021, get all your money back. That's a once in a lifetime deal. Chip shortage. Some of you were in the market at that particular time. It hasn't happened ever. I've been in the car business since 2006. Never saw anything like it. But once I started seeing it, I started telling people, and you see some of my biggest videos on TikTok, 3 million views, 7 million views, 4 million views, was teaching people how to cash out. During that run, I sold my lease. I drove my lease for 3 years, 3.5 years. I sold it and got all my money back. I got every dime I paid back less about $1,200. I sold my Jeep for $10,200. My mother made $10,200 selling her CX-5 lease. And then, I made about 9,200 bucks. So we're looking at depreciation when we consider leasing, because you look at cars that are going down in value on a normal basis, but in the short term, you are going to lose if you're buying a car and you're only keeping it 3, 5, 6 years, and you're going to replace it, because the cars are going to lose the most value in that time. Even if you buy a used car, some of you may say, "Oh, I buy a used car so it doesn't depreciate as much." True, but it's still depreciating rapidly until you get to 5, 6 years of ownership where it starts to cool off. So tying up all that money in these cars only to turn around and trade them in and do it all over again is not financially wise. Now, who was taught never lease a car? Let me kind of address, because as soon as you ask this question, Billy, you don't realize you sent a lot of sparks through anyone watching, because they automatically said, "Well, I'll never lease a car." They don't realize that they're overpaying like crazy because they're taking bad financial advice that's not tied to any numbers. They're listening to people who never explain leasing, never explain numbers, and never understand below market leases. So when you see these commercials that say, "Come lease this car with $4,000 down plus tax and fees," that's not a below market lease. That's a lease that it's really little to no value. Let me show you what an example of what a below market lease is. So look at somebody like Greg. Greg leases a Kia EV6 Wind. It's a $56,000 vehicle. He's paying $527 a month. No money down. So now you might have saw commercials and thought, in order to lease, I got to have money down. All we do is shop for leases with no money down. That's all we do. Look at Taupe. Taupe got her $54,000 BMW, $690 a month. This is normally an $1,100 a month car. A $54,000 car is normally $1,100 a month. So these are below market leases. If you walk in right now and tried to lease any of these vehicles and just went to a dealer and said, "Hey, give me a lease," your payment's going to be a whole lot higher than what I just showed you. And I'm going to be showing you more lease payments throughout the next 45 minutes so that you can understand. If you walk into a dealer and say, "Get me here," they're going to say, "Oh, no, that's ridiculous. You need $3,000 down and this and that," because they're offering you a market value lease or an above market value lease. So the key to understanding leasing versus buying, Billy, is you cannot compare buying. You should only be thinking below market. If I get a below market lease, is it better than a below market purchase for me? And the key to understanding this is how long you're going to keep the car. If you can, I have a rule in my book. It's step 1 in my book. My book is 7 steps. Rule number 1 is the most important question. How many years are you going to keep your next vehicle? If it's not 8, then you should be shopping for a below market lease. It's not even a question, because you're going to pay thousands more than a person who's getting a below market lease over an 8-year period. Now, if you keep your car at least 8 years, you can start to win. But if you're keeping it less than that, a person who's getting below market leases is blowing you away. I leased my first car when I was 22. I went to work for GM, $256 a month, Pontiac G6. My second lease was on an Infiniti G25, 320. I want to say it was 320 something a month. It was 2012, so I don't remember it exactly. But then I leased an Infiniti Q50. As soon as it came out, the Q50, beautiful car, 2014. I got it for my wife. It was $340 a month. I want to say around $340. This was a $43,000 vehicle, 44. Then I leased I leased 3 Q50s in a row, 345, 365. I think my highest payment was like 370. I never paid anywhere close to 4. And I'm driving $45,000 vehicles. So I was already convinced, not just because I was in the car business, that leasing was allowed me to drive way better cars than people were driving for a lot less money than they were paying. So It's not a matter of, it's a matter of how long you're going to keep the vehicle. Now you could ask a couple more questions because you're getting a utility truck. If you're going to beat the truck up and like you're going to be throwing cement in it and doing all types of stuff, then maybe from a financial standpoint, it might be better to buy. You can ask a follow-up question and then we'll go deeper. Go ahead, Dolan. Keep typing your questions, everybody. We're live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. So if you type your questions, we'll try to get to all of them, but you need to type them. What's up, Jess? What's going on, Minty? What's going on, Arthur? Good to see you. Renee, a lot of people tapping into the show. Good to see you. Brian Wynn. When you buy a vehicle, you pay doc fees. I paid the vehicle off and didn't receive the title. I had to pay for the title when I already paid for it in the doc fees. Well, doc fee takes care of administration in the dealership. It has nothing to do with motor vehicle fees. Your motor vehicle fees is what you paid, which would be your registration, your license plate, and your title should be included in that. Usually the only time you're paying a title fee to get the title is if the title was lost. If the title wasn't misplaced, then I can't understand that. You would normally just, because the bank holds the title. So it's literally the bank holds the title. You might get, depending on your state, you might get a copy of the title with a lien holder on it. But the minute the bank's paid off, you get a release letter. The bank should send the title to you, and they shouldn't be charging you for that. So but listen, banks are not your friends. You know, you're too trusting. I've been in the business long enough to not trust car dealers. I've worked next to wolves and sharks. The problem is you trust car salesmen and banks. You think they're your friends. Yeah, I was at the gym the other day. Hey, I went to my Lexus deal. A guy that sees me all the time. He knows me from, social media, but he also knows we work out together. And he was like, yeah, I went to my Lexus deal. I said, you own a Lexus dealer? He said, what you mean? I said, you said you went to your Lexus dealer. Oh, no. Oh, no. I went to the one I bought the car from. That's what they want you to think. Come on in thinking this is your Lexus dealer. Come on, we're your friends. These people are not your friends. So we trust but verify. But I don't know why they charge you for the title. I've never had. I can't give you an answer for that. And you already paid for it. So go ahead, Dolan. See if we got any more. Oh, they said it's a digital title. Okay. Well, you're gonna have to. You know what, Dolan? Hit me in the chat, Dolan. And if you need anything, if you ever hit me in the chat, Dolan, because I see we got a lot of people on, but we don't have a lot of questions coming in. So, I can't look. I can volunteer. Look, here's one thing I can say about what I do here. You don't know what you're doing wrong. And I think that's why when we come on here, what I try to let you know, like I do a class, I stopped doing it, but I did it for 3 years, called Everything You're Doing Wrong, Buying, Selling, and Leasing Cars. We put over 30, we had to put about 30,000 people through that class in 3 years. And they came and they found out every mistake they were doing wrong, and they were just blown. By the end of the class, they were blown away. See, I'm just realizing this as I'm on this stream. You don't know what questions you should be asking. In fact, my first book, you can Google it to this day. It's not available, but it's called The 52 Car Buying Questions Smart People Don't Ask That Cost Them Thousands. To this day, that book has hundreds of 5-star reviews, because I'm sitting up here and I'm saying to myself, and this is something that, I'm going to talk about with my team. People don't know what they should be asking. That's why I typically come and I just start teaching and telling you, this is a mistake. This is a mistake. You know what? Why don't we do that? Let's do that. Let me pull up this. Let's do something a little different, because I realized that years ago. That's why I wrote the book. Let me see. Hold on one second. We're going to do something a little different today. And Dolan, if you do get questions, we'll get them in, because I know we're on 4 platforms. But let's do something a little different here with this. Okay. We'll go to some slides here. All right. Check this out. All right, give me a second. But those of you who are tuned in today, you're gonna get a little treat. You're gonna get a little treat. Let's see. Everybody who's gonna spend some time with us, I want you to start lighting up the screen, lighting up the likes, hit the like button, share button. This is a class. We're getting ready to do something. All right, Dolan doesn't even know we're about to do this, but let's do this like this. Check this out. All right, this is the class that over 30,000 people went through, and we can do it like this. I actually want to start. This is everything you're doing wrong, buying, selling, and leasing cars. And let's go. Gift. Nope, the old version. Wait, be patient. Patience is a virtue. Because I updated this class several times. But hold on, just give me 1 second. There we go, July. All right. When leasing a car, how should I go about negotiating a deal that suits me? Bids. You want to do it your way? Call, get 5 bids from 5 different dealers. You're going to see they're all different prices. All different prices. If you want to, I'm going to lease a Nissan Altima. You talk to 5 dealers. You want to do it your way. You want to talk to people, call 5 dealers, get 5 different prices. You want to do it my way? We have a process. It's all email. You use my scripts. We email 25 dealers to get 5 prices. Everyone who you're going to see that we've worked with has always gotten at least 5 prices before they make a deal. But let's go here. Let's have a little fun today. Hold on. And I'm gonna zip through this, but all right, here we go. Can everybody see my screen? I want you to type yes. Let me know ones in the chat if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Ones in the chat. Can you see? Oh my goodness, we can't. TikTok, you can't see this. Let's see. Let me see. Hold on. All right, check this out. Because we do these lives a lot, and I need a. We got to change the flavor a little bit. I can't do a widescreen like. I'm trying to give you guys the experience, but hold on, Miss Lanice. I know I need a. I need a tripod for you guys. TikTok, we do the most for you. Hold on, listen, we do the most for you. Hang on, Dolan. We're gonna switch this up. I know we didn't plan this, but because people don't know what questions they need to be asking, we're gonna do something a little different. All right. Those who want to learn, stay on the line. If you're impatient, you can jump off. I'm not here to twist anybody's arm to stay with us. I don't care if it's 5 people that stay on. The 5 people will get a treat. I can only help who I'm destined to help. I can't. So those who stay on, you'll win. Those who don't, God bless you. Figure something else out. But let's go here. Now, this will not be a live that we ever repeat, most likely. Hey, I'm making me work today, boy. All right. Get all of this set up. All right, I'm restarting TikTok. Anybody who wants to jump back on, jump back on. I'm restarting this, and then we're gonna start this class. So I'll see y'all in 1 second. Serious people, I'll see y'all in 1 second. All right, Dolan. We're gonna ready to start. Let me restart TikTok. That way we can we can do what we do. And I'm actually gonna name this car shopping class. Okay. We did all of this for TikTok, so shout out to, okay. Welcome. We're back. We're back. I just got you guys set up to do this class we're about to do. We're doing a live class. This is everything you're doing wrong buying, selling, and leasing cars. I have my man Dolan moderating in the background. You guys know we do these streams throughout the week, but we're doing something a little different today that a lot of people are going to get value out of. And let me just give you guys, there you go. So TikTok can see. Now let's start. Okay, so everybody share this with your friend. You are going to want to share this with your friend. Tag your best friend in here. Let's get this going. So everything you're doing wrong buying, selling, leasing cars. This is based on my experience in the car business since 2006. We don't need to do a check-in. Let's just get right to it. We're not going to discuss Turo, rideshare, any of that right now. I just want to give you the mistakes you're making. We're about to go over a lot of mistakes that people that you don't know you're making. Okay, so let's get to mistake number one. Straight up. Oh, this is just a little bit about me. Some of you may not know. I spent 14 years in the car business with Mercedes. I made, good amount of money, six-figure car salesman. I'm not the pub. And without me being in the car business, I would be just like you guys, paying more than market value, not knowing how to get great deals. This was old. At that point, I think we had about 1.7 million followers. Now we're up to 2.3 million. Just a bunch of people that we've helped, little bit bunch of people we helped. But let's get to the first mistake. First mistake is you don't understand when to buy and when to lease. I want to play a game with you guys called Who's Winning. You're about to learn the 8-year rule. The 8-year rule exercise, it's very simple. Now, I need you to stay next to your keyboard. Everybody who's ready to play this is a financial literacy game that you'll never forget. I want you to type 1. Just type a 1. Type a 1. Type a 1. Shout out to, let me see the engaged people. Type a 1. Type a 1. Type a 1. All right. Stay next to your keyboard. This is going to be a dialogue. You're going to get the most out of what we're about to do, dialoguing. All right. All right. I see you, Mike Ferguson. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. So now let's take this scenario right here. Now we're comparing two deals. We're comparing we're comparing a lease and a buy. This is the big mistake right here. This is the first mistake that you're making, not knowing when to buy and when to lease. So the 8-year rule exercise is going to make it very clear for you. Right here, we have a leaser. Right here, we have a buyer. The exact same vehicle. They're both getting a 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Let's say the MSRP is $40,000, $3,000 in taxes and fees. The leaser gets a $500 a month, no money down lease, which we do all the time. We showed you a little bit of that earlier in this show. We'll show you a lot more. The buyer, the same exact car on a 6-year loan with a low interest rate, which no one is getting right now, is paying $675 a month. Who's winning? Lease or buy? Type L or B. In this scenario so far, this buyer did a no money down deal, 3.99 loan. They're paying $675. The leaser's paying $500. Who's winning? L or B? L or B? Come on, I need y'all typing fast. Let's go. Come on, I need y'all typing fast. Thank you, Desmond. Okay, I see you. No, Ami, how's the B winning? Ami, how's the B winning? These people are driving the exact same car, but the leaser is paying $175 per month less. Who's winning? See, this is and again, those of you who are typing B, I really need you to sit up. I really need you to sit up. Two people. One person is driving. These are the exact same cars. Both you're two people in the dealership at the same exact time. They drive off in the exact same car. One person is paying $675. One person's paying $500. All right, I see a bunch of L. Thank you, Gretchen. Thank you, C. Harris. All right, thank you, Lenise. Okay, lease. Now, so far, leaser's winning. Now, let's continue. 3 years later, the buyer wants to trade in. This is for you guys who you buy your cars. 3 years down the road, you want to turn around and trade them in. This is the scenario. We're going down the road. Remember, this is the 8-year rule exercise. I'm showing you that one of the mistakes you make is you don't know when to buy and when to lease. No, it doesn't depend on when. Eric, we haven't gotten there yet. It doesn't depend on how many miles you drive. We are simply talking about two people who drive off the dealership in a car, the same car, and one person is paying $175 a month less than them. You're overthinking. That's it. Well, we'll get to mileage. We'll get there, but let's lock in. 3 years down the road, the buyer wants to replace their car. Now, based on this loan that I just laid out for you guys, based on this 6-year loan with a low interest rate that no one is getting, not many people are paying $399. This is the scenario. The buyer is going to owe $23,000, $23,400 when they get out of this, when they want to get out of this vehicle in 3 years. Now, a $40,000 vehicle, is it fair to say that the value of a $40,000 vehicle after 3 years would be about $24,000? Is that fair? Type fair if that's fair. Type fair. $40,000 vehicle, brand new, 3 years old, you want to trade it, you want to sell it. Let's say we could get $24,000 for it. Is that fair? Type fair. Type fair. Let's go. Shout out to the people. I see you. Thank you, Lonnie. Thank y'all for hitting those likes on TikTok. Thank y'all for running those likes up. Now, so the buyer wants to get out. Now, if the buyer wants to get out, you have $24,000. Listen, the buyer owes $23,400. Their car's only worth $24,000. How much are they making? Look how much the buyer paid. The lease person is $175 per month richer. If you were the leaser, you're $175 per month richer, $2,100 a year richer than the person who bought. Look, so now in this same scenario, this is what the buyer needs to catch up. The buyer must make $6,300 to be able to break even to what the lease person paid. If the buyer does not make $6,300, they overpaid, they paid more than the leaser. But in this scenario, we just all agreed that a fair market value for that car would be $24,000. The buyer's only going to make $600 when they sell the car. And this is why you go to trade your car in 3-4 years, you're never happy with what they're giving you. You're never happy. Oh, my car's only worth that, because you know you paid all of this money. So in this scenario, who won so far? B or L, the buyer or leaser? After 3 years, who's won? Buyer or leaser? B or L? Come on, I need y'all to treat me. See, when we did this class, we do these classes, people engage. We get people engaged. I know it's probably, depending on what time it is, you might like Deshaun. I didn't know I was about to do a car buying class. Well, you're doing one. So let's lock in so that you can protect your money, because it's a lot of people out here that want to take your money, and we want to make sure that that money stays in your bank account. Okay, so far, 3 years down the road, leaser's winning. Everybody's typing L. We can see the lease is winning. So now, what if the buyer had an accident? If the buyer had an accident, is that car worth $24,000? When they go to replace it in 3 years, is that car worth $24,000? No. They'd be lucky if they get $21,500. So now they're in a negative equity situation. Not only are they not going to make their $600 when they trade it, they're going to have negative equity. So if a buyer wants a new car, they have to pay the difference or carry that $1,900 negative equity over to their next car, which is what a lot of people do. A lot of people will literally keep rolling negative equity from one car to the next car, negative equity from one car to the next car. This is why I can help you get out of negative equity. But if you don't understand the cause, you're going to always be in negative equity. The cause is you should be leasing, but you continue to buy. So every time you take a negative equity situation, look at this line. You are literally paying for your old car in your new car. That's the formula for negative equity. You buy cars and you trade them in. Now, let's say the buyer says, nah, I don't want to, I'm going to just keep my car a little longer. Now, after 3 years, check this out. The leaser upgrades. The leaser upgrades, goes get the 2027 version. Full warranty, $500 per month. Leasing, see, the thing about leasing, I told y'all what I paid for my Infinities. I laid out my Infinity leases that I got from 2012 to 2018. I got 3 vehicles. The payments didn't change much. The payments changed about $40 from the first one to the last one I got. Leasing is going to be about the same because below market deals continue to be about the same. So the person who's leasing, they're going to upgrade. Right when their warranty was about to expire, they go to upgrade. Now look at the buyer. The buyer, 3 more years of payments at $675. The vehicle is 3 years old. Warranty expired. We're not talking about buying an extended warranty and putting more money into the car. I'm talking just apples to apples, no money down deals. Neither one of these people are putting more money into their car. The warranty has expired. That means the buyer is on their own. Let's continue. Now, after 6 years, because remember, I'm going to take you down 8 years. What you're learning right now is the 8-year rule. This is how I created in my book. Literally, as soon as you get my book, you open it up. Step 1 is the 8-year rule, which is helping you know when you should buy and when you should lease. The 8-year rule journey is what I'm taking you through, and this is how I created it. So now we look after 6 years. Let's look at the situation after 6 years. The leaser is now finishing their second lease. They're ready to upgrade to the 2030. Again, full warranty. Now the buyer has a paid off vehicle at this point. 6 years old, was originally $40,000, but look where their financial position is. They are $12,600 poorer than the leaser in payments alone. Just in payments alone. Now we look and we say maintenance, tires and brakes. Let's say over 6 years, they got to replace tires twice, maybe brakes twice. Let's give it about $2,000 in maintenance over a 6-year period. $14,600 poorer. Who's winning so far? Type L or B. For those of you who just jumped on, we're going over when you should lease and when you should buy. You're learning the 8-year rule. People are engaged. Who's won so far? We're up to year 6. Leaser or the buyer? L or B? L or B? Yep, I see you, Desmond. L. Yep, I see you. Who's won so far? Let's go. Everybody, I see you, Michael Coleman. L. John Miziak, I see you. L. Okay, everyone's clear. Mike Ferguson, I see you. L. So, up until 6 years, with 2 people driving off in the same exact car, the leaser has won if they got a below market lease. And watch this. Remember this, y'all. What's the interest rate I use for that buyer scenario? 3.99, which means I'm being very, very conservative, meaning we are being super conservative. If this buyer had a 7% interest rate, like most people, these losses would be a whole lot more. So now, this buyer now needs to, let's say this buyer says, all right, I'm ready to sell my car now. I'm ready to get a new one. I paid off this thing. I just spent 6 years making these $675 payments. Now let me go and do it all over again. Let me sell it. In order for them to break even, they need to get $14,600. Now, a 6-year-old Jeep Grand Cherokee that was originally $40,000 that has 70,000 miles on it. Do we think that we think they could get 14.6? We think they could get 14.6? I think so. I think if they didn't have too many accidents, I think 14.6 might be, what would you pay for a 6-year-old Jeep with 70,000 miles? You know what I'm saying? You might pay like, all right, 18,000, 6 years old. That's like you going out right now and buying a 2018 Jeep with 70,000 miles on it. You're not going to pay 20 grand for that. So maybe he can break even. Look, Michael said, 12.5. That's not unrealistic, Michael. Because now what we're doing is, look what we're doing, which is a bad position to be in. We're hoping we can get 14.6 to break even. But the important part to understand is even if you get the 14.6, look what you drove and look what they drove. So, okay, let's move on a little bit more. Let's bring it a little bit more. Let's say they get 14. If they had 2 accidents, you're going to be right where Michael said. You're not getting 14. They're going to get 12. Now they paid. Not only did they not drive a quality vehicle like the leaser, they actually paid more for that privilege of driving a worse vehicle with no warranty and doing the maintenance and all of this stuff so that the leaser didn't have to do. So, and like I said, this is right where many people sell this vehicle and go right back into another 5 or 6 year loan and do the entire thing all over again. All right. Now, so if you were the leaser, let's summarize this. You paid less every month. After 3 years, you drove the better car for less money. You were always under warranty. And we're not even going to talk about if you invested that surplus money into a mutual fund. Because people say, oh, well, people who lease are not into like investing and like saving for. No, you have. Look, if I'm paying $100, $200, $300 a month less than you, I can use that money to actually put it into the stock market and gain something versus having that money in my vehicle and miss those years to be able to invest. So now, if you were the person who leased, that's an interesting scenario because in my class, listen, we put 30,000 people through this class in 3 years. I get into finances. So I show them what, if they invested it, what would the gains be? So we'll skip that part. All right. So now let's talk about when do things really change? Deshaun, is there a point when the buyer starts to win? Yes, there is. If the buyer kept the vehicle 1 more year in this scenario, the leaser is going to pay an additional $6,000 because the leaser always has a payment. And this is going to give the buyer time to catch up. Even though the buyer has no payment, that 7th year, it could be a toss-up. Because again, you've paid so much money, that 7th year is going to be a toss-up if you're going to break even. That's why it's the 8-year rule. When you get to year 8, when you get to your 8th year of ownership as a buyer, you come out ahead. Even with the maintenance, you come out ahead. So the 8-year rule says if you don't keep a vehicle at least 8 years, you want the least amount of money coming out of your bank account, you lease. We're clear on this? This is a new car versus lease scenario. Clear? 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 Type clear if you're clear. Type clear if you're clear. Okay? Type clear if you're clear. Now, check this out. Everything that you're learning is inside my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's normally $97. This is just step 1. The leasing versus buying is step 1. My book is normally $97. It's 5 stars. You can get a copy of it by going to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments, and you'll get my welcome offer, which is 75% off, but it's only for 30 minutes. If you visited the site and that timer started ticking, once it gets to 0, the book is $97. So if you don't want to worry about learning any of this, or you want to avoid all of these mistakes I'm going to be going over for the next couple minutes, go grab your copy, come back to the stream before that timer hits 0. Again, in my TikTok bio, the Instagram bio, Dolan posts a comment in the YouTube and the Facebook comments. Go grab your book. It'll be in your inbox by the time we finish class, and you'll have my blueprint for getting below market leases, purchases, new cars, used cars that you can use for over and over and over and over again. Okay, go get your book. Let's get back to the show. Let's get back to the class. So when people ask me, Deshaun, where'd you come up with the 8-year rule? Now you know it's based on math. It's based on depreciation. It's based on resale value. Okay. Now I know what a lot of you are thinking, so let's continue to go there. And then again, this is the goal. If your goal is to keep your next car between 8 and 20 years, who has a vehicle that they've had for more than 8 years? Type the number of years you've had it into the chat. Because people might be like, Deshaun, nobody's keeping a vehicle 12 years anymore. Listen, you're about to find out. Look at the chat. I guarantee you, you're going to see some people in here that got vehicles 10 years, 12 years. Sometimes we get people 16 years. Again, you're just realizing, Deshaun, that ain't me. And that's fine. Look, Shay has her vehicle 22 years. Look, Enrique, 13 years. Melanie, 11 years. Look, Desmond, 9 years. Michael Coleman, 10 years. I see. Look, so understand that if you're on this side, when you are talking to your family, your spouse, yourself, your child, and you're like, okay, what's the first thing we need to decide? How long are you keeping in that car? But realize your values are not your children's values necessarily. When you ask your child, hey, we're going to get you a car, how many years you want to keep it? Some children long term, I keep it till the wheels fall off. They're like you. Fine. You buy. But if they're not good, I'll probably keep it a couple years, 3, 4, 5 years, then you should be leasing. Tons of people buy their kid their first car, pay $400 or $500 a month when they could literally instead of paying $400 or $500 a month, they could be like, just got a $365 a month lease. And I had a friend tell me this. He was like, Deshaun, after I learned this, my father bought me my first car, and I was literally like 20, and I was paying $450, almost $500 a month. He would help me with the payment, but it was more money than I really wanted to spend. I should have, and he's like, you should have, hold on, let me see. Look, right here, India, use our system. She used the stuff in the book that you're going to learn in my book on how we get bids for leases. She gets a Hyundai Elantra Limited that has the leather, has the bells on. Look, $365 a month, no money down. So your first car could have been that instead of it being a used car. So that's why this is the rules. All right, let's continue. So now, mistake number 2, because that was only mistake number 1. Thinking they limit you on mileage. With a lease, you pick the mileage. They don't pick it for you. These are the lease mileage options. 5,000 miles per year on exotic cars and super luxury cars, Bentley, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. Usually they have an ultra low mileage lease, 7,500 miles per year on some luxury brands. And more people are offering low mileage options now, not just some luxury brands, but 10,000 miles per year are most brands. 12,000 miles per year, pretty much all brands. 15,000 miles per year, all brands. Up to 30,000 miles per year, most brands. You pick this. So whenever you hear somebody that leased a vehicle and they said to you, well, I leased, but they limit, they tell you how much you could drive. It's just not true. That's a myth. Now, whether the salesman told them that or whether they just assumed that was that's a myth. You pick the mileage. So now, when you hear people say this, you now have my permission. Tell them that, hey, that was a myth. You heard wrong. Or, they were a payment buyer. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, mistake 3 is thinking you could drive as many miles as you want without paying because you bought the car. Thinking that, Deshaun, I like to buy my cars. I want to drive as much as I want to drive. I don't want to pay for the mileage. You will not escape depreciation. You are paying. Let me show you how. All right. And everybody who's enjoying this, I want you to type $, and then I want you to hit the share button and share this with somebody who needs to hear this, because your friends are out there right now going to dealerships, not knowing this stuff and overpaying for cars. So shout out to the sharers. I appreciate you. I see you. All right. And your best friend's going to be mad when they find out you learning all this. And then they come to you in a month and tell you, man, God, I just got this horrible car deal. And they're like, oh, you don't know Deshaun? You should have followed this guy, Deshaun. And they're going to ask you, well, how long did you know about him? Why didn't you tell me about him? So So, all right. So now let's go to some high mileage scenarios to the people who like, oh, well, I want to drive as much as I want to drive. All right, let's take this scenario. We're still in a lease versus buy. $750 a month for a high mileage lease. So instead of that old $500 payment, we're just going to assume, and it's not usually that much, that this person went from a 12,000 mile a year lease at 500. They're going to pay $250 more per month because they want to drive $30,000 a month. I mean, 30,000 miles a year, rather. So high mileage lease, $750. Now, the buyer, it doesn't change. Their scenario is the same. $675 per month. They still got the same 6-year loan, no money down. Now who's winning? Now who's winning? See, this is all about looking in the short term, and then we go down the road. In the short term, who's winning here? L or B, lease or buyer? Payment-wise, who's winning? Two people drive off in the same car. Buyer's paying $675 at that interest rate. Leasers, high mileage lease, $30,000, paying $750 a month. Who's winning, L or B? Yep, Michael Cole. Yep, B. I see you, MT. B. All right, I love y'all. I see y'all, man, locked in. Let's go. So B is winning. The buyer is winning at this particular time. The buyer's winning. He's paying less, or she's paying less, driving down the road, driving, lots of miles, thinking, okay, I'm winning. All right, cool. Let's continue. In this scenario, let's go down the road a little bit. Does the buyer really win? Well, the buyer is $2,700 richer than the person who leases. At the end, let's look at, remember, after 3 years, the loan balance on that buy is $23,400. So if this buyer wants to trade this car in, this is where you high mileage drivers who drive 18,000, 20,000, 25,000, but you buy your cars and then you want to replace them in 3 years. This is where you get slaughtered. I'm going to show you right here. 2027, let's say the buyer says, man, all right, I've been driving this, man. I want to get rid of it before it hits 100,000. Now, what is this vehicle that is 3 years old with 90,000 miles worth? We already said earlier that with regular miles, it would be worth about 24,000. That's 36,000 miles. It'd be worth about 24. Is it fair to say 90,000 miles on a 3-year-old vehicle, be lucky to get about 15? And again, think about what you would pay for it. Think about what you would pay. A person comes up, 3-year-old Jeep Grand Cherokee, 90,000 miles on it. Yeah, it was 40,000 brand new, but that car should have about 36,000 on it. It has 90,000 on it. Was it fair to say? Yep, fair to say about 15. Okay, perfect, 15. Now, they owe 23. So when you go to replace it, yeah, you look like you had won $2,700 richer. You got $8,400 of negative equity. That's where you lose. See, you didn't win. You just pushed all of your losses to the back. That's all you did. You're $5,700 poorer than the person who leased. Look. So, okay, before we go to the next mistake, let me show you an example about how easy it is to add a little more mileage to your lease deals. Very simple. Look at Jen. Jen leased. She got her Honda CR-V hybrid. She used our system, everything you'll learn in my book on how to get bids for leases, to get below market leases. She gets her $39,000 CR-V, $512 a month, no money down. That's what's called a 1.3% lease. Her payment is 1.3% of the MSRP. Now, she then upgraded to the 18,000 miles per year for $563. Literally, she went from $512 to $563, $50. She's able to drive instead of 12,000. Instead of 12,000, she's able to drive 15,000. Hang on one second. Let my wife see, because nobody could call me unless it's my wife, and she doesn't know I'm live. So hold on. All right. So thinking you can drive as many miles as you want because you buy, in the long term, you're fine. But in the short term, you lose. Okay? Are we clear on this? Is everybody clear? Now, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna wrap up this with a used car scenario. See, that's what we're going to do next. But before we move to this last scenario, is everybody clear that the buyer in the short term wins on a high mileage scenario in a lot of cases because their payment doesn't change? But the buyer in a high mileage scenario, the more you drive, the faster you're depreciating your car. So when you go to replace it, now you're going to eat those losses because your car is worthless. You've destroyed the value of your car. And that's true. That if there's no accidents, that's a great point. We haven't even taken into account if there's accidents. See, with a lease, you have an accident, send it through your insurance company. They fix it. You drive that thing, you can have 3 accidents in a lease and just, hey, so as long as you send it through your insurance, you drop that thing off after 3 years, you're not invested financially in the car. That is the big deal. Okay? Again, everything we're discussing before we hit this last scenario, which is the used car. See, what this really is, because I can't go over 23 mistakes. I can't give you guys, I'm just saying it, especially with the format, I can't give you the 23 mistakes. In maybe next time we jump on, we'll continue with the mistakes. But what you're learning is we're doing the 8-year rule exercise. Okay, right now you're learning something that God had me create 3-4 years ago that has helped everyone who uses it to understand leasing versus buying very simply. The 8-year rule. That's why when you get my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships, you get to step 1. Step 7 is delivery. So just to give you an idea, I'm walking you through a 7-step process of how to get cars. By the time you get to step 7, it's literally delivery. But step 1 is this step. You must choose 8-year rule. Are you keeping this next car 8 years or not? If you are, we're going to buy. If you're not, we're going to shop for a lease. Okay? All right, I see everybody's clear. All right, now let's go to you. I know some of you, Deshaun, I only buy used cars though. So, I'm not going to ever buy a new car. Who's been taught that? Type the letter U. If you only buy used cars, you would never buy a new car. So these scenarios, that comparison we just laid out wouldn't apply to you because you're like, Deshaun, I only buy used cars. I learned that from Dave Ramsey. All right, all right, let's handle this. So now let's go to mistake number 4. Buying a used car and breaking the 8-year rule. So I'm buying a used car, but I'm buying it to keep. I'm not buying it to keep it long term. I'm just gonna drive it a couple years, 5, 6 years, 7 years, and then I'm gonna swap it out and do it again. Cool. Let's look at this scenario. So again, regular lease, below market lease, $500 per month, no money down, brand new price, $40,000. Now let's look at a 3-year-old version. 3-year-old version, 26,000 miles. Is it fair to say, and I think when I was doing this, it was 2020. So that let's say it would be about 2021 right now. I think this is my old slide. See, I didn't pull this up. But anyway, let's look. The point is, let's take a 3-year-old vehicle. Let's pretend this is a 2021. Right now we're in 2024. 36,000 miles. Now, Jeep has a 3-year warranty. So unless you're getting a certified vehicle, there's no warranty on a 3-year-old Jeep. There's no bumper to bumper warranty. So we're using apples to apples here. Let's say, that you pay $26,000 for it. Is that a fair price? Brand new 40. You buy a good 3-year-old one, about 26. Financing that on a 5-year loan, you'd be at $550 a month. You have $550 a month on a 5-year loan. Now, check this out. At this particular time, who's winning? $550 a month for a 3-year-old Jeep with 36,000 miles and potentially no warranty, or $500 a month on a brand new Jeep, $40,000 vehicle, full warranty. Who's winning? Lease or buy? L or B? This is the used car scenario. Used car scenario. Who's winning? 3-year-old Jeep, $550 a month, brand new lease. Who's winning? L or B? L or B? All right, I see you, Gretchen. L. All right, I see you. MTL. Renee. L. Desmond. L. All right. Everybody's following it. And this is why we've been able to have 30,000 people go through this class, enjoy it, learn a lot. Most people, and especially when I'm going to give y'all a preview of the other mistakes, but maybe we'll hit on those on another stream. But people will come and they will be like, man, I've been making a lot of mistakes. But this is what we need. You can't move to, again, and I wouldn't know this stuff without me being up in the car business since 2006. So don't think, oh man, shoot, I've been messing up. Yeah, but it's $1 billion industry that programmed you to mess up and doesn't teach you. Like when you're buying a house, you have realtors and trained people with licenses and all of that. This is not that industry. So I don't want you to beat yourself up, but if you continue now, 2 years from now, if you're still making the same mistakes, you're not taking any action to change your situation, you haven't applied anything that I've taught you, then you can, heck yeah, I'm beating you up. How long you been following me? How long you been getting this information and not applying it? So, but we're not going to do that. We're going to take action today, and we're never going to make these mistakes again. Not when it comes to this leasing versus buying. All right, so right now the lease is winning. So after 6 years, let's look at the scenario. $500 a month. The leaser is about to upgrade to a 2030 version. 2030. So they're about to be to their third lease vehicle, brand new, paying their $500 a month, driving brand new cars, hassle free. Now, the buyer has a paid off 9-year-old vehicle. It had 36,000 on it, 36,000 miles when they bought it. Now, we literally have, let's say at 12,000 miles per year, that vehicle would now have 106,000 miles and it's 9 years old. $3,600 poorer in payments. They paid $3,600 more to drive an older vehicle with no warranty. After keeping it that long in an older vehicle, we're going to give it about $4,000 in maintenance. And that's just, again, brakes and tires. Let's just not even assume things go wrong. See, I know you're probably thinking, well, Deshaun, something breaks. You being real generous. Yes, I am. Because I don't want people to think, oh, he's gearing us toward this. No, I'm just saying maintenance, tires, and brakes replaced twice. $4,000. $7,600 poorer than the leaser. $7,600 poorer, and you drove a worse vehicle. Now, the buyer needs $7,600 to break even. Will they get it? 9-year-old truck, 106,000 miles, no warranty. Maybe they'll get it. Maybe they'll get 10 grand. Maybe they'll get 3 grand. Maybe they'll get it. They need 7,600 just to break even. What would this vehicle sell for? Maybe 76. Maybe they'll retail it, sell it private party. Maybe they get it. But here's the point. If they don't get it, then what? They must get it. They must get it. And that's just to break even on price. That's not considering the fact they drove an older car. Just to break even in price, they got to get that much money for this vehicle. Okay? So what did you drive for the same money? Old vehicle, 5 years with no warranty, same money. If they can get it. This is the point. Don't break the 8-year rule. Numbers do not lie. No more. Listen, from now on, there's no more, hey, should I buy, should I lease? This is the anchor. Okay? Now you can have both in your household. Me and my wife, I would always get a lease vehicle for her. And then I always kept my vehicle for 7-8 years. And then I stuck because I would buy older vehicles. And then before I learned the 8-year rule, I would keep them by Pontiac. I had about 7 years. Then I sold it to a friend. So I would normally buy, and I bought a Mercedes, used Mercedes that I was going to keep forever, but then it got totaled. So there are situations where things happen and you do plan on keeping a vehicle, but you can't. But when we're buying, we are keeping, and you can have a person lease. So type got it if you got it. Type got it. Type got it if you got it. Type got it in the chat if you got it. Okay? Now, I want to be clear. These are not all the mistakes. You got the 3 pillars of great car deals. Look, who you buy your car from, second pillar. Who you get your loan from, third pillar. Who you sell your old car to. That's mistakes 5 through 7. Then you got, we separate these. That's mistakes 5 through 7, 3 pillars. And then look, who you gonna, hold on. Mistake 9, shopping with down payments. Big mistake. See, I don't want to go over this because we will literally be on this for a long time. And we just, and I just didn't plan on, had I planned on, breaking out maybe hour and a half to do this, then we could do it. But these are the mistakes. Now, how could you avoid these mistakes? Very simple. Grab my new digital book, Car Shopping for, this is car shopping for people that hate car shopping. But look, hold on, buying your lease out. Look, buying your lease out. Most leases are 3 years. 4-year leases are horrible. We do not do 4-year leases. Lease buyout loans for lower payment. For most people who want to buy their lease, they're going to take a loan out. And the reason they want to take a loan out, they want a similar payment. So if they were paying $500 a month on the lease, they want to pay $500 a month or less when they buy. So they take a 6-year loan. What they end up doing is 9 years. Look, 3 years to lease, 6 years to buy, 9 years, 108 months they're paying on the same exact vehicle. And listen. So let's go more. Look, being a payment shopper, these are all mistakes that we were going over in this class. Taking loans that are too long. In my book, I have something called the Rule of 72 on the 10th birthday. Look, you should not, a 3-year-old car, your goal should be to pay off the car before it turns 10. That's when things go wrong. That's when you should be putting money to the side for maintenance and upkeep. But if you still have a car payment, you are going to be in trouble and you're taking a lot of risk. So I can't tell you, most of the people who have horrible car experiences, car broke down, they still owe the bank, transmissions out, they still have a payment due, but they can't buy it, they can't drive it. This is how they get repos, and this is a huge mistake that a lot of people make. And then we have not knowing how to get rebates, not knowing how to find the best price dealers. They want to negotiate fake fees. Deshaun, what about all these dealers that have fake fees? How do I negotiate them? You don't buy from them. You buy from their competition, who not only don't they have fake fees, they actually discount cars. You don't negotiate with someone who has $4,000 or $5,000 of fake fees, because now they're going to take off the 5. You think you won, good, I got them to take off all the fake fees. But you didn't realize another dealer would have taken off not just the $2,000-$3,000, maybe more. So again, these are the mistakes that literally you will avoid. But now let's go. Rebates, finding rebates. There's all types of rebates too. There's conquest rebates on new cars, loyalty rebates for leases, customer cash, lease cash, military rebate. How do you get these? By making people bid. You can't walk into a dealer and say, hey, do y'all have a conquest rebate? How much is it? They can lie to you. No, we don't have one. But, listen, where are you looking to pay? People don't know how to get the rebates. And look, I remember I sold the Maybach when I was at Mercedes-Benz. You may know it as Maybach. The vehicle had a $20,000 rebate. A $20,000 rebate. Deshaun, is it rebates that big? Well, let me give you an example. Look at Sean. Sean got an F-150 Lightning. Look, shopped around, used our system, used the same things you're going to be using in my book in the step-by-step process. $73,000 vehicle, $15,500 rebate. Now, he didn't just he couldn't walk into a dealer and get that deal. He stayed at home. He got multiple bids, and the best dealer literally not just gave him the $15,500 rebate, took off another $4,990 for him. Give you another scenario. So you don't think, look, Milligan got a Mercedes just a couple days ago, $79,000, and I know I can't zoom in on that, $79,000 vehicle that she literally got for, hold on, let me show you this. TikTok, you can't see this. Look at this. $79,000 vehicle, you can see right here. Look at the rebate. Look at the discount. She got a $20,000 discount, $7,500 rebate. So some people walk in that day, we want to buy electric cars. Deshaun, I want to buy an electric car because I want to get that rebate money. Yeah, when you think about the rebate money, what about the discount? What about the discount? That market is soft. The electric car market's very soft. We got people getting $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, $15,000 off the price. So this is the stuff that you don't know how to get. These are the mistakes you're making. And then we wrap up here. Let me wrap up, because even in the class, I couldn't go over all the mistakes. So I kind of did a summary of it. Returning your leases instead of selling them. Deshaun, we're selling leases. What do you mean selling leases? How could you sell a lease? Yep, that's a mistake you've been making, not even understanding that you can sell a lease and not understanding how to know if you have equity. Paying cash for cars. If the interest rates are low, you need to be counting costs. Can I use the bank's money at a lower rate? Can I keep my money invested, making me more money? Look, not getting gap insurance when you need it is a $1,000 to $5,000 mistake. I needed gap insurance, didn't get it. Car gets totaled. Not only is my car totaled or stolen, but I got a bill coming. Look, letting a third-party restriction stopping you from selling your equity. Deshaun, I got a third-party restriction. They said I can't sell it. So yeah, listen, that's just, they said you can't sell it. A third-party restriction does not mean you can't sell your lease. It limits who you can sell it to. Negotiating made-up fees. We talked about that. Ordering a vehicle without getting key things in writing. You have a vehicle that's been on order for 3 months, but you have no paperwork, no negotiated deal. You don't know what you're paying. You lost your leverage, and you're going to wait for the car to come, and then they're going to tell you, hey, this is the price. Listen, and they know you waited for it for 6 months, so they know you're not going to back out of it. So they could tell you anything, and you're going to pay it. Waiting until you need a car, 30 days or less, to start shopping. You can't say no. You're desperate. And look, if there's an emergency situation, we deal with emergency situations. Our process in my book literally takes hours, not days. Look at Ansley. Ansley got his 2024 Infiniti QX60. QX60. Look at the time frame. Look at the last sentence. First of all, look at the deal. 2024, $58,000 vehicle, $554 a month, no money down. He only gave him his first month's payment. He drove out. That's a 1% lease. I started the process Saturday, accepted a new deal Monday. They delivered the car to him on Thursday. Delivered the car to him. Look, hours. It doesn't take you to shine. Oh, man, you're going to teach us how to do this, but does it take a lot of time? Listen, I get cars in 90 minutes. You're not going to get cars in 90 minutes your first time using this. It'll take you 3 hours, 4 hours from home, though. All right, so those are the 23 mistakes. Now, I'm going to give you the 2 biggest fears. Hold on, that's people tapping in. Oh, no, this is the end of these slides. All right, let me go back here. Hold on, TikTok. We flip it. If you got value out of that segment real quick, just type $signs. Let me see $signs. I didn't plan on giving y'all that class that I was given that literally, hold on, let me flip my camera. You got value out of that portion, type $signs. If you learn something about, if the 8-year rule is clear to you, type $. I see you, MT. Let's go. I see you, Mike. All right, I see you, Dell. I see you. All right. Hold on. Okay, thank you, Gretchen. Look, she lit it up with the $signs. All right, so now what you just learned, this 8-year rule thing, forever in your mind. Forever. I see you, Darren. Forever in your mind. 8-year rule now. That's the leasing versus. As soon as you hear lease, buy, 8-year rule pops in. 8-year rule. And so now another thing I would teach in this class is hold on, let me stop sharing my screen. What is the 2 fears every single car salesperson has? The 2 fears every car salesman has, and you have to use them to your advantage. Thanks, Elmar. I see you. $signs. Shout out to the people who locked in, who got value out of what we just went over. The 2 fears. The first fear is a customer that will not come into the dealership. What is the first question when you get on the phone with any car dealership? One of the first questions they're going to try to say to you. First question. You're not even going to be on the phone with them a long time before the question comes out. What's one of the first questions you're going to hear? Anytime you're on the phone with a car dealership or a car salesman. Thank you, Carissa. When can you come in? So if a person is showing you in your early interactions, this is my intention, within a couple minutes, can you come in for a test drive? Look, exactly. So that means that's their superpower, is getting you in for a test drive. I gotta get you in. Now, that's their biggest fear, is a customer that they can't get in. Can't get them to come in. I can't get them to come into my house, get fascinated by all the fancy cars that a lot of other dealers have, that all my competition has. I can't get them to come in. Big fear. Second fear is the customer who makes them compete against their competition. A customer who is making them compete against their competition. See, we've helped you. See, I've been blessed to help over 2,000 people personally in my programs. I have a Shop with Deshaun program. That's where you see a lot of these people. I have a I have a private group for people I shop with. That's my done with you program. But then I have a do it yourself. And my blueprint, for those of you who like, Sean, just give me the blueprint. Let me get the blueprint. Give me the exact steps. I'm going to do it. We've got thousands of people who have my blueprint, which is my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get your copy as my welcome offer to you in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or my Facebook comments for 75% off. It's normally $97. But if you go there before 30 minutes, only 30 minutes, that's a 30-minute welcome offer. If you get there before 30 minutes, you can get it for 75% off, which is $24. So go there, grab your book, come back to the stream. You might still be able to listen to us. But the point is, I know from working with all these people over the last 3 years that 8 out of 10 dealers are not going to give you a below market deal. It doesn't matter how much you negotiate. They're not going, if the below market deal is here and let's say the starting price is here, the below market deal is here, 8 out of 10 dealers are not going to go below this. That's just where they rather sell the car to someone else. I'm not going here. Now, another dealership, what we call the 20%, will go here. So how do we get the dealers that's going to go here? We use the 2 biggest fears that every car salesman has. We combine them. We're not going into the dealership, and we're making them compete against their competitors, and then we're finding the 20% here. That's how you do it. So that's what my book is. My book is a system. When you're shopping for a used car, you're looking for a Honda Accord. Literally everyone who has a Honda Accord, you're making them compete with each other. Everyone that has a Honda Accord, you're making them compete. I have a system in my 3rd step. I help you budget and know exactly what you can afford. But then I have a system where I help you see multiple goals below that. Yeah, my max goal might be I could spend, $22,300, but I help you see multiple goals, starting with a no money down goal and a short loan and all of that. Again, it's proven. Google it. You can read the reviews. You can see all the 5-star reviews. But the point is, that's how you get the below market deals. You don't get them by negotiating. You get them by making dealers compete and staying in your house for most of the process. The only time you need to be in a dealership with our process is when you're test driving or when you're picking up your car. Now, and you see in Ansley's case, they delivered the car to him. He was never even there. So everything you just learned, if you want to avoid all the rest of those mistakes, you're like, we went deep on the 8-year rule, but I went over 23 mistakes. It's like, Deshaun, I couldn't go deep on those. Being a payment shopper. My book is going to help you never be a payment shopper again, because you're going to separate your loan from who you buy your car from. That's another mistake. I mentioned the 3 pillars of great car deals. Who I buy my car from, I need to get bids. Who I get my loan from, I need to get bids. Who I sell, not trade, who I sell my old car to. Lots of cash buying companies. I need to get bids. And I'm separating these transactions. I'm never mixing them. When you walk into I got alarms going off and everything. When you walk into a dealership and you buy a car from them, get a loan from them, and trade your old car to them, you just gave them 3 transactions. No way for you to get a great deal. It's impossible. How is it impossible? You just gave them 3 transactions and you didn't bid out each one. Even if you bid out the first, it's impossible. There's money in all of them. Okay? So everything you learn to avoid these mistakes and to make sure you're getting deals like the people you saw, go to any of my pages. You'll see dozens and dozens of people who just swear by the Cars from Home system. People like you, grandmothers, single mothers, introverts, soft-spoken people. Deshaun, I hate negotiating. This all works for you. And some negotiators, you're like, Deshaun, I negotiate for a living, but I'd rather get bids. I'm a negotiator. I can negotiate. I enjoy it. I would never negotiate for a car. I'm getting bids. And I end with this. I always compare this to like buying a product from 3 different grocery stores. You walk in, see, they've taught you, just come to the closest Nissan dealer. All the prices are the same. Come to the closest Toyota dealership. All the prices are the same. I want you to think of a product. You go into the grocery store. You go in the shop, right? You see the same product. Okay, it's $7.99 here. You go in the shop, Stop and Shop, it's $9.99. You go in the Pathmark, it's $4.99. You go in the Walmart, it's $3.79. How is the same exact product 4 different prices depending on what store you're in? Same thing with cars, but instead of the dollars, my lease over here might be $700 a month. My lease over here might be $600. Matter of fact, let me show you one more scenario just to drive this point home. Let me show you one more scenario to drive this point home. Teddy, because he laid out everything when he got his new BMW, he shared, he's like, look, he said, look, I will never, I repeat, never lease now or buy. You know, if you buy and get bids, you'll see it's the same thing. He said, I'll never do this any other way. From start to finish, it took just 6 days. Contacted 25 dealers. That's in my book. I show you how to connect with 25 dealers. Takes about 20 minutes. In 4 nearby states. He's on the Indiana border, right outside Chicago. He said, I received 10 offers. I only used the scripts and provided. Now, I got scripts, email scripts in my course, in my book, not talking scripts. I'm never going to give you talking scripts to say and go in there and now remember what Deshaun told me to say. Never. So now look, he gets a $73,000 BMW, almost $74,000, $856 a month. $856 a month. The dealer's initial offer was $937. I have a calculator in my book where you put all the offers you get in it, and then it spits out counter offers to send to them. He uses the counter offer. He ends up closing his deal at $856 a month. Now look, his highest offer, because remember what I told you, y'all learning a lot today. Remember the 80%. 8 out of 10 dealers are never going to go below this. Doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter. You're in the wrong dealer. So he said my highest offer was $1,123 a month from another dealer. There's a dealer that offered him this vehicle for $1,123. That was their best offer. His local dealer, his closest dealer to him, $986. He gets $856 a month. This is the importance of multiple offers. It's not like potato chips where it's a $2, $3, $4 difference. It's $200, $300, sometimes $400 difference. And we already know this. You are going to prove it to yourself when you use this. I see a lot of people saying, I got the book. God bless you. Use it and win. And make sure you send me your deals when you make them. Write me emails, Deshaun, check out the deal I just got. I love seeing those. I love seeing the deals you get and bringing them into the show. But go grab your book. It's my welcome offer. You won't pay $97. You got my new book for $24 as long as you get there before the 30 minutes is up. Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. In my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. Use it. Everything you need is in there. This is what we do over here. Join our family, and the people who got the book, I'm happy to have you. All right, we did something a little different today, and I enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot of value out of it, and if you were locked in, you should have got a lot of value out of it. Gretchen said, I love the counter offer calculator. I'm glad. And, we used to do this manually, Gretchen. There's 6 calculators in that book, either 5 or we got the counter offer calculator for leases that we invented. We got the counter offer calculator for purchases we invented. We got the perfect budget calculator for purchases. You've never seen it. You can't get these the calculators alone are worth the price of the book. This is proprietary software. You can't Google let me find this calculator on Google. It doesn't exist. The true market value, the true value calculator for used cars. This is stuff we invented. This is specific proprietary Cars from Home stuff. That's why I could have said, you know what, I'm going to charge $200-$300 for this book. And then the people who get it, they're going to see this is worth every bit because people are using the book and saving $5,000, $10,000, $8,000 and more. But I priced it at the welcome offer. It's the price of a regular book. But even if you missed 30-minute welcome offer, it's worth $97. It's worth $400. But I wanted to price it at $97 just to say, you know what? I got to price it somewhere so this ain't no regular book. The books on Amazon, when you see them, they're rare. they're $280, $400. You could tell, okay, wait a minute, these ain't no regular book. If you see them for $24, you say, okay, that's a regular book. It's not. But with the welcome offer, you can go and you can pay a regular book price. You get there before 30 minutes, it's $24. So I'm gonna jump off. God bless. 8-year rule. Step 1 in my book. Step 7's delivery. Ask yourself as you use the book, where am I at in the process? You should make sure, what step am I on? Stay on task. Don't overthink. Literally just follow my steps. Leave your strategy at the door. I don't want your strategy. Bring your goal. That's it. Deshaun, I want this car. That's all we need. Don't bring no strategies over here. You got to unlearn your strategies. That's the whole point. All right, let me jump off. God bless y'all. I'll see y'all soon.